Hello, welcome back to MIRRORMOURN. I am Esper, your dungeon master, and we've actually been talking about movies, but I think we're going to stop the movie conversation and get into some Dungeons and Dragons, or at least a dungeon. I can't guarantee there'll be any dragons. Can you guys introduce your characters like usual?
Yes. Hello, I'm Warsor, and I play Walykos, the transformed. I guess we haven't said what class I am yet. Should I just keep that a secret? Do you think?
Yeah,
Esper?
I left
Yeah,
the video description with your old information, and we'll let
Okay.
the new pertinent stuff
Let it
come out
happen
organically.
Yeah. So Walykos. I'll say my race at least. I am now half elf.
All right, I am Vince. I am playing Vapor, the wild magic Genasi.
I am Nick. I am playing Adriel, the swashbuckling rogue.
I'm Adam, and I'm playing Aygir, who is a half Hobgoblin, and the other half is also Hobgoblin. He is an Artificer of the Armorer subclass, and we're all level 5 by now, I think.
I'm actually level 4.
Have you not gained a level now?
Or did I?
I think we're actually going to start off with Adriel.
Oh, I may have gained a level. Oh,
Yeah.
I am level 5. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I am level 5.
You've just gained level 5. So we're going to start off with Adriel. A lot has happened recently in the campaign. A lot happened last session. And Adriel is taking a stroll on a drizzly night in the aftermath of all these recent events of the revelation of your grandfather having this strange secret cult. I don't know if you can call it a cult, but it's a strange secret organization. And then the revelation of the White Raven, a god who's actually a god from Terra Morgana, the homeland, not Haven Isle. And Walykos was healed by your repentant grandfather, Duncan Mantivale. And you spoke with Corgain, and there's some different plots and tensions rising within Barnacle. There's a lot of stuff happening. I think our sights are going to be set on Vapor going to a cave that holds a fungus that he wants to harvest for some elixir brewing purposes, trying to get rid of his fire vulnerability. So, before we get into all that, let's start off simple with Adriel walking by himself a couple nights later, and you've got a lot on your mind. You've also recently acquired or gained some abilities. So tell us what's going on with Adriel.
Well, I guess mechanically, obviously, level 5 rogue, uncanny dodge. Very nice. It makes me a little bit more nimble, avoiding more damage, things of that nature. A little bit more health. And my sneak attack for damage as well, more proficiency. So I basically am a bit better of a killer now, which is exactly what Adriel wants. He prefers to be good at slicing throats and stabbing halflings in the back. But yeah, I guess after everything that happened, he would have been like just kind of like going off into the town and trying to, I think I mentioned this last time, just trying to find like a sort of like the place where the criminals hang out, like where that stuff goes on. He kind of just wants to like basically get his anger out. Like he's frustrated, he's mad, and he basically just wants to like beat up some people, like get some fighting, do something like, and specifically to the criminals, to some of the bad beats out there that maybe have been getting by and no one's really, like, maybe they've paid off people, maybe they have been sly and just haven't gotten found out yet, but he wants to go into them, find them, and essentially do some maybe vigilante, just like get into some fights, maybe.
Okay.
Go into a bar, do all that good stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So you leave the district of the Storm Tower, which is where your noble family resides, and you pass by probably the largest district in Barnacle, which is called Strong Castle. It is it used to be a tremendous giant's castle. And so this enormous section of this castle of old was repurposed nowadays into housing thousands of elves, from commoners through, merchants and tradesmen, and then all the way up to like minor nobles and these aspiring pseudo aristocrats. And that has a huge interior section with various halls, chambers, corridors, dwellings, and then there's like exterior parts as well where there are smaller dwellings and shops and stands kind of clustered about. It's after sundown. It's drizzling. There's not many people out. Everyone is staying indoors and safe as much as possible these days, even though the Nightstalker has killed people inside, not just in external locations. So there's a grip of dread, a pall hanging over Barnacle as you walk the streets, and you can hang about or stroll about the seedier parts of Strong Castle if you would like, or if you want to go to the really sketchy area, you're going to go down south past the wharf to the Shackle Downs, but that's a slum area. So
yeah, I think that's kind of what I think I do. Yeah, just like going down there. I even like maybe imagine like Adriel might even like really have a drink with him, just like
Okay.
walking down, like kind of just like a bit depressed, a bit just like with everything that happened with Walykos, he's just like, I'm losing sort of the one person that kind of understood me, at least from Adriel's perspective. That's
Sure.
what he views. I'm sure Walykos maybe doesn't want to lose Adriel, but Adriel views it as like, I'm losing this person. Like he's going away from what I thought we agreed on, sort of these kind of moral principles and like what we wanted for Barnacle. But
yeah, it's the first time we've seen tension or a potential wedge coming between Walykos and Adriel, who have been close knit all along. So that's probably affecting you. So you head southwards through the drizzly night, and once you get to Shackle Downs, you start to pass by some people as the shanty town district has these hovels at odd angles, all hunched up and stacked atop each other, in these little narrow walkways with stairs winding up through them. And people will mill about even at nighttime, and they'll the street vagabonds and ragmen will dwell around little fires that they have in the nooks besides the huts and the small little slummy shops. And there's street cats out looking for anything they can find. The whole area just smells like rubbish and human waste and smokes of various kinds, from people keeping themselves warm to like trash fires, just people cooking and people smoking actual smokes of recreation. You duck into one of these little smoke dens and partake yourself. Now, you said drinking. Were you specifically meaning drinking, like actual imbibing of liquor, or were you wanting to do smoking, which is more prevalent here?
I guess like on the way I might have drank a bit, but then once I got into the smoke shop area,
Okay.
I'd probably
So
smoke
when you go to drink, it's actually a dwarven establishment, and they've got things set up in this script that is it's a giant tongue is what it is. It's a dwarven dialect of it, but harkens back to a language spoken by the giants. And it's really the dwarves that are more into drinking. Now, obviously, some non-dwarfs will partake in it. I think even your own mother does. But it's looked down upon by society, by elvish society, to be drinking. That's like something for the dwarven tunnel sweepers and soot pushers to do. So you get in there, and they're actually quite standoffish against you, and you take a sip of the fire water, and it burns. Have you drank a lot previously?
I'd probably say no. Adriel's probably not like actually a huge drinker, but just like in this moment, he's very down. He kind of wants that bit of pain, he wants that bit of.
All right, so you take a drink. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
The best at con. Man, yesterday we were playing D&D, and like in that campaign, I roll so well. This one I got an 8.
Okay, so you take this swig of the dwarven fire water, and you start coughing, and like you barely get it down, and your face, scrunches up, and you're hacking, and it's kicking your ass.
Yeah,
And the dwarves throw you these mocking, dirty looks, and they say things to you, in their they switch over to the Elvish tongue to say things to you.
Mm-hmm.
They say, it's the first time you ever tasted fire water, little flower, and they mock you pretty bad.
Yeah, I'll sort of look down and kind of look up at them and say, "It is the first time, and I don't need your comments right now, unless you want to."
Well, we don't need you in here. Why don't you just bugger off?
How close is the person who said that to me?
It's 10 feet away.
I'll kind of
6 feet away.
I'll kind of get up, and I'll my mass is probably down right now. Oh, and I guess for the audience, since I haven't really...
There's a fucking elf in here, and you hear some other voices in.
Oh, I'm human.
Oh, there's a okay. Well, they call you an elf nonetheless.
Okay, they call me elf.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for like facial stuff, because most people haven't really seen the face yet. I have like a scar kind of, or like I guess what we were talking about, Esper, probably maybe like a burn on my face, like an acid kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, like an acid burn, sort of like on my like kind of face area, which kind of disfigures it a bit. And I'll kind of like get up, and I'll try and take like another swig of the firewater as I'm walking towards the dwarf who was making the comments.
Okay, there's a number of people that are like saying things. They say some things in Elvish so you understand it, and then they say some things in their own tongue. And there's just the coming out of the woodwork, right? You got the gallery, and it's a small little place. This is not some big hall that you're in. It's all pretty packed together.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and do another Constitution saving throw? Sure. This is more for narrative effect than anything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is about a 14. This is a little better.
Okay, so you take your swig, and you managed to hold your composure.
Yeah.
Better that time. Not splendid, but at least you're not hacking all over the place. So you choke it down and like contain your grimace.
Yeah, and as I walk over to that dwarf who made the comment, I'm gonna like be holding the glass and kind of like kind of sloshing the liquid around, and I'm gonna look down at him and say, "Willing to back up those words? Think you can take me?" Because
you know what you're drinking there. We use that to clean the engines in the fire galleons.
I'm sure you do, but I don't have time for your games. I'm here to get drunk and try and forget. Right.
Well, by the looks of it, you're going to be drunk here after just one more swig.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, twig boys, burning all the way down. I'll give him some burning on the other side. Hey, come over here, sit on my lap. Hey, sweetie, a dwarf who's got like, missing some teeth and like soot, black stained face. He's like makes this like, kissy pucker face at you.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna walk over to him this time, and like with the glass.
You've got the dwarves, all of them in attention, and they're all just like in a semicircle, like looking at you. Some of them are just eating it up like it's entertainment. Others look like they're actually offended or annoyed that you were there at their establishment.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. Adriel's not in a good mood, and he wants to get into a fight, so he's just gonna like walk up to the one who was actually I guess the one that he's next to right now that was also making comments.
Sure.
He's gonna look around, and he's gonna take the glass that has the firewater in it and just try and smash it on that dwarf's head.
All right, so let's see. I'm gonna do a contest with you and the dwarf, and it's something dexterity based. It's kind of like an initiative thing. Is there a dex skill that it could possibly be? Just I guess it's like I just want to see who acts first. Is all. Just do a dexterity check. That's fine.
Just dex. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was terrible. 6.
6. All right. So you swing it, and he notices it in time, and he like ducks out of the way, and then like goes to punch you. and that's definitely going to miss. He's got a 6, so he like swings, and you dodge that. Are you? What's your plan? Are you going to try to brawl with this guy because he's like up in your face now?
Yeah,
and he's
I'm just
about
gonna
ready
go
like,
in. I'm just gonna go in. I'm just gonna go punch him in the face, just like.
All right, just make an unarmed strike attack. So it's a strength attack that you're proficient with. So what is your strength?
0 plus 0.
So you have a +3 to hit.
+3 to hit. Okay.
Yeah.
That would. Okay. Let me just do it. All right. Oh, I actually got a 20, an unnatural 20.
All right. So you smack him. We don't need to roll for damage because I don't think you're trying to like kill
No,
this guy.
I don't want to kill this guy.
Okay.
No,
so like, I don't. Are you like closed fisted, like hitting him with your knuckles? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, just with the knuckles, just like right in the face. Yeah.
Okay, so you do that, and this is like you smack him as he's coming in to like tackle you. Yeah. And make a athletics check.
Can I do? Is this a grapple? Could I do?
Oh, you could do acrobatics instead. Okay. Yes.
Wow. I guess this works out. Like it's good that I'm rolling bad because I did show up last time.
Maybe you're starting to feel a little sauced.
Yeah. I got
even though you had like 3 swigs.
Yeah, so I imagine like I punch him and then he like, I'm guessing.
Yeah, on the way in, you definitely land one and he winces from it, but he like like gets you in this this grapple and he's trying to like pull you to the ground. What do you do?
At this one, I'm just gonna like keep swinging like on the back of his head.
All right, so you proceed with your attack.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in narrative things here. What your choices are.
Yeah, that's kind of. I'm just trying to like get him off by like punching him essentially. Like like if you were like on the ground and like someone's on you, you like.
All right. So you continue to assault him. This might be the last roll. I don't want to do too much drag out on this. So you can make an attack roll. You can do some skill check. Whatever.
I guess I'll try and get out. I'll try and get out of his grip. Like in this moment, like. Punching, trying to get out.
Go ahead and do an acrobatics check again.
Oh, wow, another 8.
Okay, so he actually rolled pretty low on athletics. So you wriggle free, and you're like there on the ground, and it looks like a bunch of dwarves are about to gang up on you.
Oh, really?
They seem to be having this fellow's back, or they're not taking kindly to this. So you've just succeeded on an acrobatics check. So what I want to know is, do you want to try to take this maybe last chance to slip out before they all start clobbering you? Or do you want to like stand up and hold your ground? Maybe some other thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Actually, Adriel, like he's not in the mood to run right now. So if he can, he's gonna like stand up. And I know that we've just been throwing punches, but like since they're all ganging up, he is going to like pull out his father's rapier, and he's gonna like point it at them all and say, "You want to go? Do you want to die today?"
Okay. So like, you brandish your blade, and that makes a number of them hesitate and wince backwards a little bit.
Adriel's like fuming right now. He's just pissed. Like he's just like not having.
Someone throws a hammer at you. That is a 21 to hit.
That does hit, yeah.
All right, so you are actually hit by a throwing hammer, which someone threw after you brandished the blade and started threatening lethal violence. And it just like wallops you over the head. You have this new ability though. Do you want to use that? Don't forget.
Oh yeah,
uncanny dodge.
You have the uncanny dodge.
Do you want to deploy that or employ that?
For now, no. I think I'm good. You know what? Yeah, for narrative, I'll do it. All right.
So instead of a direct smack, you notice it like at the fraction of a second before it hits you, and you roll with it, so it just glances off. So maybe just gives you a little bump off the edge of your eyebrow or some such. And so the dwarves come in. No, I'm sorry. You got the sword out.
I feel like I'm kind of
the dwarf that you were grappling with. He looks around for any weapon. I'm just going to do a DM roll of what is immediately in his. He looks around for any weapon, and he grabs what he thinks is going to be like a table leg, but it's actually just this moldering old, broken chip of a plank. So it's really nothing of a weapon at all. So much to his dismay. And he's like, holds it out, but instead of this makeshift club, he just has this, sodden piece of wood that's, probably been sitting there and softening up for who knows how long. And that's he spits out something to you in his tongue, and there's a lot of dwarves shouting. So I'm going to go back to you, and here's a couple main choices. You can come up with something else if you want, but this is what Adriel's aware of. There are a number of dwarves that are about to start throwing things at you. They're keeping their distance, but you're going to get pelted by a bunch of stuff. Hammers, mugs, bottles, chairs, anything heavy or sharp that they can get their hands on. Or you can, that's if you stand your ground. Or you can slip out of there, cut and run. Or you can do a different thing.
Not to that we don't draw it out too much longer. Would it be possible maybe I could perhaps maybe try and stand my ground for a little bit, but then once the pelting starts happening and it's getting on me and I'm getting hurt and all that, then I sort of maybe just make a run for it, realize I can't handle it.
Okay.
With this many people.
Make an acrobatics check.
Finally, a good roll. 17.
17. Okay. So the barrage comes in. There's some thrown hammers. There's all kinds of things. Then some of them would be pretty bad to get hit by. And some of them smack you or ping off of you. Others you evade or you knock them out of the way. And it definitely hurts. It smarts.
Sure.
You probably have some hit point damage, but there was no serious injury done to you.
Yeah.
And then you cut out of there.
Yeah, I get out and I'll just start kind of running and get into a sort of, I guess an alleyway or something to get hidden so make sure they're not chasing me. And then I guess I'll just sort of probably got bruises on my face and on my body, kind of just kind of slouch down on the side of the wall, go to the ground and just pull out what I was drinking while on the way and just start drinking it a bit, look at the sky and just be and this is the slummy area where they're all kind of, it's pretty bad, and just say, I don't even know how much better it could be if they just listened. They just let me do what they don't know what to do. Drink some more.
So you are there tucked away in a nook, and it doesn't seem that anyone followed you. And you have these thoughts of, if only I was in charge,
basically,
I would know how to set them straight. I would lay down, a structure for them to follow and fall in line, and it would be better for them. They would have a cleaner, more organized, more productive lives. And the drink really burns going down, and it makes you pretty disoriented and groggy. And I think a memory comes back to you now. It's an older memory, and you can probably add on to this, but I'll give you the beginnings of it. So you're younger, and your mother has had a falling out with the family, and against their wishes, she leaves the Storm Tower district, and she takes you with her. You're quite young, and you're going to go stay somewhere else. We don't need to put up with all of this. And she takes you to live in a dwelling that's a small, cheap, house inside of Strong Castle. And it's a much more limited and simpler life. And she has to find, some way to provide for you, to do some work. So she's actually gone a lot. And, maybe you in your young mind are thinking, I wish we were back at Storm Tower. There was a lot of problems there, but we had a better life. This seems like a worse circumstance, and it kind of is. And then something happens one day when you're like, your mom's out and you like go a little bit, out to play. And there's this weird thing that you come across in your little play nook in some, part of Strong Castle. And there's this strange, at first you thought, oh, is there some kind of like rat or frog, like a frog over here?
Mm-hmm.
And then it like turns around, and instead of a face, it has like all these like weird tendrily things. It's this bizarre slimy thing. And it croaks at you. And when it does, there's this pain inside of your head. And you run off. And this thing reappears from time to time. And it takes different forms. It can be all kinds of weird creatures. It's always a slimy thing. And in one incident, it manages to attack you. It lashes you and like burns you with this slimy tendril thing. But you can build on that if you want.
Yeah, yeah, like when it like burns me and stuff, I imagine like obviously would probably try and fight back since it's attacking me this time, and I'd probably be losing, and it probably burns me in other locations as well, maybe on my arms, on my hands, things like that. And like I am losing, things aren't going my way. This is like, and as a child, right, it's sort of like I'm gonna die, right? Like this is it, right? Like I can't do anything. I don't know how to fight. There's no one to protect me, right? There's nothing out here in this like desolate land that I've been forced to live in because of my mother's decisions and because of what happened with the family, and how much they hate when humans or when elves and dwarves get together and things like that. And then sort of this person, maybe a guard or a knight, sort of comes in and actually essentially saves my life, protects me from this monster, from this creature of the night or of the forest. And maybe picks me up, maybe does some self, basic healing on me, make sure I'm stable, and maybe even carries me back to my home. And just that, and it doesn't really stay for too long per se, just like kind of does that. And I realize that it's some kind of guard or knight, someone that is of the law, right? Someone that protects people, because that's the job, right? That's what these people should do, right? But they weren't doing it for other people. And then as I get older, that kind of sticks with me, right? That kind of order, right? That kind of these people should be protecting the people like me, should be protecting people who are out there like that, even though they're not really doing that right now, right?
Mm-hmm. So you remember these familial problems. You remember living in this, small little house and going off and playing by yourself a lot. And this strange creature, this monster that harried you from time to time, hurt you. And after it finally attacked you and, left you with this scar, it maybe even knocked you out. I don't know. The soldier came and vanquished it or drove it off, and carried you back in his arms, and that's the moment where your mother said, we're going back to Storm Tower.
Mm-hmm.
When she saw that you were in such danger and in such a vulnerable state, and things had already been such difficult living conditions, that's when she decided to go back and make something of amends with the family. Now the things are still not of the she's not in the finest standing with House Mantivale, but she at least was able to get you back to a better upbringing. So you come out of this fog of memory and half drunkenness a couple hours later, and now it's like deep nighttime, and you scrape yourself up off the dirty alley floor and travel back northwards. And you get back to the Strong Castle district, and it'll just be a few minutes before you get back to Storm Tower. And as you're passing by on this narrow street between, on the one side there's this tall rising wall that is part of the external structure of Strong Castle. And on the other side, there are like homes and shop fronts all back to back to back. You hear a gasp there to your side. And you look and you see an old man and a dark shape that is suddenly appearing and accosting the old man. And the old man groans and he falls down. And what you see is a figure cloaked in darkness and in dark clothing. And he has some kind of dark mask covering his face and a long dagger in hand. And the old man is no more. And my camera's not at a great angle. Okay. The figure stands, looks at you, and then just continues walking in that other direction.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go over there. I mean, you said that I noticed that the man died, so I won't. If I know that the old man's dead, then I won't.
His groans stopped suddenly.
Yeah, I'll run and start chasing and say, "Hey, stop that!" And I'm probably got like a bit of a hangover, and I'll start chasing him though to the best of my ability.
All right, so you run and try to keep your footing from the post-drunken grogginess, and you see this figure just walking like purposefully, not even listening to you, just completely does not pay attention, and just walks down another narrow road that's like lined with shop fronts and houses on this like cold, dark, drizzly night.
Mm-hmm. I'll just keep yelling at him, be like, "What? Who are you? What did you do that for?" And keep chasing, trying to like catch up to essentially stop him because this guy just murdered someone. I mean,
okay, so you go running after the figure. You start to get closer. You're faster than him, and it's a pretty strong, well-built figure. Maybe an elf, maybe a human. Definitely on a kind of larger end of that. It's not massive, but he's a solid fellow. You can tell that.
Yeah.
Has on some kind of, it's probably like a light armor. It's all dark colored. Maybe some kind of good leather or gambeson or some such, and then has this mask on. You can see some hair in the back. The mask wraps around quite a bit, so he might be an elf because it wraps around enough to cover the ears. You can't make that out. You want to get right up to him? He's not paying attention to you. He's just ignoring you.
Yeah, I'll get right up on him and I'll sort of, I mean, if he's not stopping, I'll get in front of him, pull out my short sword and point them at him and say, "Stop. You've killed a man."
All right, so you're running up to his back. So you see him walking just like methodically, and in his hand, just down at his side, is this long dagger that has like blood slicked over it.
Yeah. If he's not stopping, I'm gonna attack him. Go for an attack.
Okay, so you run up to him and you go to attack him. Roll for initiative.
Oh boy. 12. Man, my rolls are not that great tonight.
You have succeeded on initiative. He is, 10 feet in front of you, and he is now turning around, but you do something.
Yeah, I'll attack him with my short sword. I'll go for a stab. Yeah, we'll go for it. Okay. Believe I will get. Make sure I haven't had this happen in a while, so let me make sure I read it correctly. The you call it? I think I get sneak attack with this because of the swashbuckler, since we're 5 feet from 5 feet. So
it's like a dueling sneak attack.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah. Short sword. 2. Oh, and this is my short sword +1 because I had that +1 short sword from a while ago. Haven't got to use that one yet. 14.
He deflects your attack.
Oh wow. Okay. I'll go for a second attack with my other short sword.
Dual wield, okay.
A natural 20.
Critical hit. Oh, wow. All right. I'm here like, rest in peace, Adriel, but maybe not. You can
Yep,
probably do a pretty
um,
damn good critical hit sneak attack.
For sure. And I don't think, since this is my second attack, I don't add my dex to the damage, right? I don't have.
Correct.
Or is
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
the
just
offhand
gonna
doesn't get it.
So that's only going to be a 7 damage. The critical. Oh, and the sneak attack that I need to do also. That's 7 damage first.
Yeah.
and
Don't
this-
forget your sneak attack dice are doubled. It's on a critical hit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
So it
just
should be
roll.
6d6, right? You got 3d6 for 5th level rogue. So double to 6d6.
Right. 26 damage plus the 7, so 30.
33. Okay, so 33. That's a pretty
Yeah, I
damn
feel like I
good
just like
hit.
stab him in the back, or in the. I guess when he turned around, I kind of like just slice
Yes,
through him
to his
essentially with
side
that.
or
Yeah.
something. All right, so you give him a jab, and it's a pretty solid jab, and he doesn't grunt. He doesn't make a sound that he just feels pain. He just takes it, but clearly you stabbed him. Like
Yeah, I look
didn't-
visibly
like you
confused.
felt it hit like the bulk of his body. Obviously you're not like killing him, so you didn't like shank him through the heart, but like you struck him, so you are aware that the blow was a success.
Physical. He's physical. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I look
he
visibly
seems to just
confused.
not be affected by the pain.
What are you?
And then his blade rises and he swings at you, and you can just see off the glint of, I don't know, maybe there's like a lantern hanging in the distance, or maybe it's pretty there's not a lot of lighting, but so whatever lighting there is that is there, you just see a little glint off of his long dagger.
Yeah.
And it is clearly a special dagger. It's not elven made. It has some intricate patterns on it. The blade itself, and even the shape of the blade, does not have that elven curve or that graceful look to it. It's just this sharp, pointed, direct instrument of death. And it's it's a big dagger. It doesn't look like one you could even throw.
Oh, wow.
And his blade rises and falls with a 20 to hit.
That definitely hits. Yeah. I will half the damage.
Okay. All right.
It's 1v1, so I can it's always reaction half the damage essentially.
All right. So it's actually only 4 piercing damage. You have it to 2. And an instant later, the real effect hits you, and something pulses from that dagger. Make a Constitution saving throw. It is against poison, if that matters.
It does not matter, but I got an 8.
That is not a success.
But I have this damage.
You take 21 damage.
Holy crap, that's a lot of damage. I mean, I did a lot of damage to him too, but
I wish I could make a suggestion here, but I'm not there.
Yeah. His dagger strikes again. It is a critical hit. Well, in this case, the poison does not double because it's like a secondary thing that happens. So, yay for that. All right, so that's 9 piercing.
Okay.
And make a Constitution saving throw.
Piercing up there. Go. 18 this time.
18 is a success for half damage.
Okay.
$25 halves to 12.
Glad I passed.
How are you doing, Adriel?
I'm at 2 HP.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at this moment, Adriel's like probably like bleeding out.
All right,
like
so he's stabbed you, and there's some kind of magic in this dagger. A fell blade, and it's like some kind of like burning ice, right? It's this like horrendous sensation, just like like ripples out like veins of death whenever he hits you.
I will look up at him and try and like before I'm about to run, but like before I get out, I just want to see if I can get a face. I don't know if I can see. I don't know if I have to make a roll. I won't do it. But like if I can just like glance up.
He wears a black mask that covers much of his head. It's got like some tie backs or it's real dark, so you can't tell if it's tied or if it has like buckles or something. But you can see a bit of the hair in the back. It's a dark mask. It's pretty plain. It doesn't have much features. There's just these eye holes and maybe a couple of nostrils and maybe a tiny slit for a mouth, but you can't tell.
All right. Well, after I do that, I'm just gonna look up, and then when I see that, like when I get that little view, I will magical passage, misty step away, 30 feet as far back, 30 feet away, and then I will just book it, like run, just I will do a dash, and then I will do a bonus action dash. So that'll be the 35 times 70, and then another dash 35. Yeah. So
well,
105 feet.
You spent the bonus action on the Misty Step.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Sorry.
But that will get you. That'll immediately get you away from him.
Yep.
Now you can go up. I don't know if that matters to you. You can go up on a building. Do you care about that? You wouldn't go as fast because you'd be like,
no, I'd rather just get further. No, I'd rather get farther away. Yeah, so just furthest distance away, and then I'll do the action then to just dash. So that'll do us another 70. So 100 feet altogether. Yeah,
it's a good amount of distance, and you're running from him, and you probably throw a glance back to see.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure see if he's running after me. Yeah.
And he does follow for a time, just like walking, just like there's no expression. He says nothing, just goes, just methodically and purposefully.
Serial killer walk.
Yep.
As soon as you get back onto like that main road that's more well lit, you take a turn and you're like running and
I'm like holding my
you're
side
just
where
like
he
racked with pain and like this sickly feeling all over. And he doesn't seem to follow you out onto this more well-lit thoroughfare. You also seem faster than him.
Yeah, I'll just keep going, just like panting, trying to get away, get into safety, back into the I guess the non-slummy area, the non-bad part of the city, yeah.
All right, so I say let's go to Adriel meeting with Walykos. Yep. Is that you'd be going back home, right?
Yeah, I'd be going back home, yeah.
Okay. So you make it home, you get yourself up the stairs with pain steps and probably just like collapse on the bed or maybe even on the floor. And Walykos, this wakes you up in the night.
Yeah, I guess like for narrative, it'd be kind of cool. Like maybe like as I get up to the top of the stairs, like I just like collapse onto the ground in the hallway and like Walykos hears that, like hears the thudding.
Yeah, Walykos, who has done other things in his time, but now we're back here, gets up and goes to check, and he goes, Adriel, what's going on? As he sees him bleeding on the ground, he turns you over and checks you, makes sure that you're alive, and he lifts you up and carries you into the little chamber that we share with the birds in the tower.
The wound is like this angry red puncture. Yeah. And there's some veins of some sickly colored venom.
I'm not gonna fuck around. I shout, down the stairs for. I mean, I kind of confused how no one else saw him on the way in. Usually, his father would be at the door.
Sure. Well, it's the deep of night. Ginteljar is probably nearby the door, but he's got to be asleep by now.
Gotcha.
He probably. I don't know. Maybe if Adriel did you make a lot of noise entering? He would have.
I would have been like probably thudding and I'm probably not like intentionally trying to be quiet. No.
Okay, so we'll say Ginteljar is there as well, and he's been woken up. He's disoriented, but he keeps a post like as a house guardsman. So there's a dwarven father, biological father of Adriel, and he's like nearly pulling his hair out. And, I've told him time and again.
Just give me some space. Go get a healer.
Okay, yes, I'll do that. And he says the name of, there's a person. It is.
Yeah, once my father does leave though,
Crispin Hallows. So he mentions, I'm going to go call on Crispin Hallows, and he runs down the stairs and out the front.
Yeah, once my father leaves, it's just me and Walykos I've got it's hard to I'm like holding my side and I grab on the Walykos's I guess shirt or something, be like
Don't
or shoulder. Walykos,
don't speak. It's okay.
It
I'm
was
here.
I don't know who this person was. It was
Just stop. Just rest. Just rest. The healer's coming. Hang on. I have something. I feel around. And
some kind of poison.
Just hang on, Adriel. You're gonna be fine. And I feel like as I reach out, trying to find any way to help him.
Yeah.
I feel a connection with the white raven and the birds, and maybe even a bird flies into the window that's left ajar, for some mysterious reason at this time. And it lands nearby, and it has something that it's clutching, and I see it, and it's like a bundle of berries. And I grab the berries, and I know instantly that these are going to help him. And I'm like, eat these, Adriel, eat these.
Yeah,
I force you to take them.
I'll eat them. Yeah,
you're gonna get some good berry healing.
Oh, good berries, nice.
Yeah. So go ahead and heal. I guess it's 10 if you eat all 10.
Yeah, I'll munch them down. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that definitely helps.
So just slowly, one at a time, and maybe it lessens the pain.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But it's not just instantly healing you. It's just making the pain dull. It's like you got some painkillers now to help you heal.
Thank you, Walykos.
What happened? Where?
It was in the slums. There was a man. He stabbed an old man in the alley, and I tried to stop him, but he didn't even react. I stabbed through him so hard, so swift, but
was it the Nightstalker?
I don't know, but it must have been. He didn't even react, Walykos, and when he stabbed me, I felt this jolt of poison just rushing through my veins, and oh God, it hurts.
Here, have another berry. Take another one. Yeah. And honestly, I will, look down, and there's another 10 berries there suddenly, that the Raven brings me again. Thematically, Esper, what I'm doing. I'm just, and I just keep feeding you these berries. So you can heal up to 20 over the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what this Nightstalker is, but he's not human, Walykos. Something's
fucking kill him. That's what. You see, is he coming for you? Do you know if he saw your face?
No, I don't think so. I had my mask on at one point, but no, he was slow. I got away. He didn't continue chasing. What kind of creature just walks like that, doesn't chase. He just stood there and killed.
Something that's we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just the coughing.
Yeah. No, it must have been the Nightstalker. I can't think of anything else in the city that matches this description. And killing an old man, who would do that for no reason other than just the kill?
Wasn't for a reason. It was just
Adriel,
murder.
We need to deal with this. And clearly you're hurt, but I'm gonna get Aygir and I'm gonna get Vapor, and we need to hunt this down. You need to tell us exactly where you saw it.
Well, I just let me rest. But now,
yeah, just rest. I feed you the berries. I force feed you the berries so that you get the healing and whatnot. But then I'm gonna let you pass out. Effectively.
Yeah, before you leave, though, I will say, Walykos, don't go after him alone.
I'm not. I'm going to get Aygir and Vapor. And we're going to deal with this. This ends. It's gone on too long.
Yeah, and with that, just Adriel like kind of passes out, like just from pain.
Yep. Walykos will leave Adriel here since he's had his scene a little bit, and I'm going to go get Aygir and Vapor. And this might transition into another scene potentially, Esper,
Sure.
of us doing our hunting.
Most definitely. So it certainly fits the description of
The Nightstalker.
Nightstalker.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that all his victims are that they have these stab wounds. And Gentiljar comes back eventually. He has brought Crispin Hallows, who's sort of like a house wizard of Mantivale, and he administers a healing potion to Adriel, and he checks over Adriel's wounds and his conditions, and he says, "Well, it appears that the poison has just run its course. We are only seeing the after effects of it now. If you were going to die, I think you would have perished already. You are lucky to still be alive. There are few victims. I know of only one that survived the attack, and
that was
because Arachno saved her before the blow was struck.
Yeah.
Let us not forget this Nightstalker slew a knight. And it's true. Rourke Drakestone was killed a few months back by the Nightstalker in his home, like inside of Longcastle.
His stronghold. Yeah.
With the wizard person, like I'm guessing maybe I kind of like gained a little bit more consciousness and
the potion helped you. It
Yeah.
soothed more
Mhm.
the pain and lingering effects.
Yeah, when as Walykos does like sort of start leaving though, Adriel, like even though he's hurting and like he is in a lot of pain, like he is going to start like getting up and say, "No, Walykos, let me come with you. I'm fine. I'm fine.
You nearly died. It's gonna be fine. Leave this to us. We can handle it."
No, you don't understand. And I feel like I'd like kind of like almost fall
Yeah.
over.
I grab you and I'd like just gently lean you back. Yeah.
You also smell on Adriel's breath.
Yeah.
Strong drink.
Yeah, I don't comment on that, but I can tell that he's been drinking.
Yeah.
He also has like some like bruises on his
from
face.
like a
did
hammer.
the Nightstalker punch you a couple times?
Yeah, it looks like a hammer.
Like, Adriel's just like hurt all over, like mentally, physically, just everything is rough. Yeah.
Good thing you took that short rest after the bar brawl.
Yeah, for real.
Good thing I leveled up with help.
I'm gonna say, Adriel, you've done enough. You've given us where he is. I need to get Aygir. I need to get Vapor.
I didn't do enough, Wally.
Adriel,
I couldn't stop him.
Adriel, listen to me. You're an idiot for fighting him alone. And we're going to get him, and we're going to make sure he pays for what he did to you. But you have to realize that you're not alone, Adriel. We're a team. We're the Vanguard, and we need to work together. We need to, whatever issues you have with me and what's happened, you can always count on me. I should have been there with you.
Thank you, Walykos. I just need some time. I thought I could take him myself.
You did well to run and not do anything to get yourself killed. But let me take it from here, and I will call on you when you're feeling better. You'll join us, but we need to deal with this now before he kills more.
Very well, Walykos. I'll rest here with my father.
Yeah. You'll be fine, I'm sure, in a day. Just keep healing and get better. And with that, I turn, and my cloak of white raven feathers kind of like swirls and does like this sort of thing where I kind of almost blend into the night. The colors kind of change and shift a little bit to match what's around it as I like move and move into the night. Well, down the stairs, but then onward.
So are you going out seeking Aygir and Vapor right now? right now.
I know where they live. I know that they
Yep.
live in the little
Klingstead.
Klingstead. Thank you. The
Klingstead, yep.
apartments. Yeah.
Yeah, north of the harbor, north of the wharf.
So
Okay.
I'm moving as quickly as I can. Main streets, moving fast rather than trying to be discreet.
Sure. Okay. And Adriel, you are exhausted. I'm sure you're falling asleep there, and you'll be getting some much needed rest. Walykos, you are hastening along the streets of the Storm Tower district. By the time you reach Strong Castle, you see the hints of dawn, lighting up the air.
Well, that's going to be a problem. The Nightstalker really doesn't stick around during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
does that deter you?
it does not, but it really it puts me in the mindset of that this isn't going to be as successful as I would hope tracking him. So, I'm going to go ahead and bang on Aygir and Vapor's apartment.
Okay. So you move past Strong Castle and then on to the Haven's Port, and then north of the Haven's Port up into this multi-tiered platform district where most of the houses are made out of these giant hollowed out barnacles. And you go to the front and bang on the door. Aygir and Vapor. I don't know if you two wake up at the crack of dawn, but there's a bang at your door.
I'm pretty sure they also have separate apartments.
They do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
so-
Aygir first.
Aygir first. Okay.
Well, when you bang on the door, you can catch a faint whiff of Zagape and the sounds inside of some idle plucks on a string instrument of some kind and some throat singing in a not exactly consistent key.
Just
And
an average morning for Aygir.
a few moments later, it stops, and a cloud escapes as the door opens slightly, and out peers Aygir.
Aygir.
I heard you knock. What do you want? Why are you
Adriel's
here?
been hurt.
Adriel, what happened?
He was attacked by the Nightstalker.
The Nightstalker attacked him.
He nearly got himself killed. He showed up in a pool of his own blood at the doorstep of the Storm Tower where we live, and he's not in a good way, but he's alive. He's going to live.
Gods in the pirates have all gone dung. How did that happen?
He was walking home, and he saw the Nightstalker kill an old man. He tried to confront him, and the Nightstalker stabbed him in return.
It sounds like Adriel. I believe that.
Yeah, I want you and Vapor to help me. Adriel's in a bad way. We need to deal with this.
Right.
He might come
yes.
back to finish the job.
I suppose it's a sooner than later problem here, isn't it? Let me get my armor.
Yeah, get your armor. I'm gonna go get Vapor. Meet me at the the exit to Klingstead or wherever it is that we'll meet at this location.
What is the name? I'm not sure if we ever got a name of the particular fume hovel where we first met Lami Lonstock when he was disguised as a bird.
There was a name.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
The bird trading venue.
I don't have it handy. Yeah.
It was just like a marketplace, right? That's kind of how I.
No, it was like
Or
a little
was it-
tavern.
Yeah.
it was an actual fume hovel.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Yep,
oh, I'm
there
thinking
is a
of-
name for it. It's in a place, a document.
Take your time. I don't want to meet there necessarily because it might be out of the way. I want to get us together.
Well, that was kind of near the entrance to Klingstead. I
Spit
understand.
okay.
whistle.
The what? The tin whistle?
Spit whistle.
Spit whistle. Spit whistle. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Outside the spit whistle, in the alleyway where we first,
Right.
I
Meet me
find-
there in a few minutes. I'm going to get Vapor.
To be a little longer than that, I have to put my
In a-
armor
in
on
a-
and get ready.
In a
But
few
yes,
minutes,
yes.
as soon as you can. Yeah.
Mhm.
Go
Vapor-
find Vapor. yes.
Do you live right next to Aygir? I mean, you both
I
came-
don't think they live right next to each other. They're probably
Couple streets.
a couple levels difference.
Hmm.
Okay, so nearby is Vapor, but he decided, Aygir makes too much noise, working on stuff and banging all
Not a
all
good
the time.
neighbor.
So.
Yeah.
And
He
what
knows
about
Aygir well
Does
enough.
Vapor wake up at the crack of dawn, or are you still asleep?
I'm going to roll to see.
Okay.
Oh, he's still asleep.
Well, you wake. Well, you may wake to a pounding at your door. Then.
A gentle rapping on my chamber door.
Yeah, he
Raven.
wakes up to the...
And I just keep pounding and shouting, "Vapor, are you in there?"
Vapor doesn't answer. He opens the door,
Mhm.
and his one visible eye, because he's got
Mhm.
has actually wrapping over his other one, is crackling with lightning,
Mhm.
just showing like, what?
This is important. Adriel was attacked by the Nightstalker.
You see him just like kind of go silent, and it's just like, wait, words are registering in his head.
Let him like process that.
What the fuck was the idiot doing?
Walking home.
Fair point. Give me a minute. Closes the door, and you hear him like just muttering like curses as he goes deeper in. About 2 minutes later, he comes back out dressed, got all his stuff that he needs.
Come with me. I've already gotten Aygir. He's going to meet us outside the Spit Whistle.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, we need to track down this monster and finally deal with it.
Afterwards, I have stuff to do as well, so Adriel can pay us back by helping me out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find the body. Adriel told me where it happened. I'm going to try and track him from there.
Very well. Let's go to the Tin Whistle to pick up Aygir.
Yep.
And then we'll get hunting.
Okay. So you have roused the 3 allies. It sounds like you all are going to go to where the murder occurred.
Yep.
Yeah. Is there anything important that needs to be done or discussed, or should we just cut to the next scene where you guys are at the dead body?
I'm fine with cutting to the next scene at the dead body.
Okay. So shortly after, you all are in the lower horror section of Strong Castle. So if you can imagine this enormous giant's castle of old that has now have like elven facades put onto it and attached buildings, and there's like smaller streets adjoining that are just like side by side houses and storefronts and such. And in this one little road, you see there's like a group of a few people huddled around. There's a couple of guardsmen. There is a big cloth, a cloak, a canvas laid over some shape on the ground. Looks like a body. And everyone is like abuzz, talking to each other. The guards are writing some things down. There are these 2 young gnomish men, like adolescent gnome guys, and they come up to you, group of 3, and they say, "The Nightstalker strikes again! The Nightstalker strikes again! Another murder in the middle of the night!"
Yes. Is Source's Flay here? I'm asking a guard.
Source's Flay. Who is this?
Wood Elf guard. He's one of the guard captains. I'm looking for him.
Still waiting on the guard captain to show up.
All right.
It was Mr. Heather. Mr. Heather who was killed. Yes. Wallman Heather.
Yeah. Look, we need to look at the scene. I'm here on the authority of Mantivale, House Mantivale. And I'll if I have a badge, I don't know if they gave me one, then I would show it. That's up to you, Esper.
A badge.
Like I know that Adriel has a badge, a paper of some sort.
Yeah, I was gonna say Adriel may have if it's possible, Adriel would have been okay with giving Walykos something like that because they've been very good lifelong friends. But that's up to you, depending on how the world treats that kind of situation.
Yeah, not
papers.
Maybe like a vellum that has like the seal of Mantivale on it. And it's
this person
designates you as a retainer of House Mantivale.
Yeah, that's probably more likely. I would
the Gnomish boys, they actually run along and they're gonna go like spreading.
Well, this is to the guards. I was hoping to talk to the guards. I know the Gnomish boys were just excited talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I motion.
Hello there.
Hello.
It's a skinny elven man in like this half rusted helmet. Clearly, like, you know, the graveyard shift guy who's just, he's here like 2 hours past the end of his watch now.
Look, my name is Walykos. I'm a retainer of House Mantivale. And there was a witness to this who barely survived. He was attacked by the Nightstalker. And I'm here to investigate. Here's my vellum, parchment that shows that I'm part of House Mantivale.
Attacked by the Nightstalker and lived, you say? I've never
Yes.
heard of such a thing.
Well, now you have. Would you care to, to take this up with, I can talk to Sources Flay. He knows me. I'm sure he'd
We're
vouch
waiting
for
on
me.
Source's Flay. Hopefully
Yeah.
he'll get here before long.
Do you mind if we look at where the attack happened? Although, I might be able to track the Nightstalker, find some clues that he left that lead to where he's hiding.
If you find anything, let us know.
I will. Like I said, Sources Flay will vouch for me. He knows us. So, here, if they let me investigate the scene now that we've had our conversation, I would like to walk past and take a look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, have at it. Are you going to just start going across the cobblestones?
Well, I feel like I'll crouch down and I'll start looking for, possible tracking signs, maybe some mud, left from boot treads, anything, because I see where the guy was dropped. Maybe there are blood drips from the knife, that would lead me in the direction.
Sure. It has been raining, but this just happened, some hours ago, so there's always a chance. Give me a survival check.
Yep. Does he count as a monstrosity? Because I would have advantage on that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If I may,
that's like kind of like revealing secret information. But
I know.
I'll say for now, no, it is not considered a monstrosity.
Okay.
If I may, by the way, Esper, I'm just curious. When I stabbed the Nightstalker, did he bleed? Like, was there blood?
I don't think you caused enough damage compared to his hit point pool to have been like a bloody wound.
Okay.
But I'll just say that you are certain that you struck an effective blow against him.
Okay. I was just curious. Sorry, just out of character.
Gotcha.
I got a nat 20.
Woo!
And I have +8 to my survival.
Has anyone ever seen Sleepy Hollow when Johnny Depp
I want to
put him down over here, and then he turned his horse around. Here's where the blade. You're doing that, okay? So
yeah, I wish I have seen.
You were like playing it out in your head, like you can see it like a theatrical play.
I'm imagining from
Like
the Two
Sherlock.
Towers. They're tracking the hobbits at that battle. They crawled, and you keep seeing the flashbacks of what was going on.
Or like with
Basically,
like
you
Sherlock
guys-
Holmes, with like when he's like kind of reorganizing everything in his mind.
Right. So
you see me like on my hands and knees, I'm like crawling.
Clearly,
Yeah.
you see footprints in a pretty regular stride going away from the corpse of Mr. Heathers. I think is his name, Heathers? Wallman Heather. All right. So Wallman Heather's the body. Okay. So here's these shoes or whatever. And then there are Adriel's footsteps that are this longer sprinting stride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so obviously Adriel ran after him. I guess you're just on survival, so I shouldn't go too far into investigation. Okay, so here's what you find. You find the steps, and then you see where the steps meet, and then you see some indications of blood spatter, where there's obviously some conflict.
Was that where Adriel got stabbed? I think
seems logical.
Makes sense based on the story. Okay.
Yep. And then you do see some other indications of movement, maybe back and forth.
Yeah.
And then let's see, you find some prints that are coming into this street, right?
Okay.
From the direction that the Nightstalker entered the street from.
Yeah.
And then you see some of his footprints turning to go back, and they only go for a little ways, and then there's no more.
It's where it chased him. Okay, so where did they stop? Is there anything around where I don't see the footprints anymore?
Give me an investigation check. I think that's really, we're going into that territory now.
Sure. Fortunately, that's only a 6.
Okay.
But is there anything
Not
obvious?
quite sure. Something is kind of missing. It looks like the Nightstalker, you see his prints coming into the street, but then they don't really go back out of it. They just disappear.
I'm going to focus here, and I'm going to say this is where the trail ends. Aygir, Vapor, use whatever magical and visual, investigative skills you have on this spot. I'm going to look, just because I can say, hey, is there a sewer grate? Is there a window nearby? Is there I look at the building.
Yeah, you look around.
Yeah.
There's not an immediate sewer grate, but that's a good thing to look for because there are sewers in this city. There are some windows.
Yeah.
There's houses, shops. It's a pretty densely lined but narrow street. There's mounds of rubbish. There's like little gutters of waste. It stinks here. It's a stinky little street.
I'll let Adriel and no, I'm sorry, not Adriel. Aygir and Vapor.
All right. Yeah. So Aygir is going to look at that spot and kind of maybe do some stuff for tracking non-standard ways. Like he realizes the footstep trail ran out, so he's looking for little loose threads that caught on stuff or places where
give me an investigation check.
Dragged.
Yeah.
So Vapor cast detect magic just by chance, and I rolled on the wild magic table. I got a nat 1, so time to see what happened.
Okay,
this could be really cool, actually.
Whoa! All right.
Okay, that's a 12.
What's a 12?
What does that mean?
Roll a d10. Your height changes by the number of inches equal to the roll. If the roll is odd, you shrink. If the roll is even, you grow.
This will be interesting.
Okay, given this scene, that's actually one of probably the best ones to roll.
Yeah.
I mean, if it would have been like a 5.
I grow suddenly by 8 inches.
That's pretty significant. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
your clothes are probably tearing in some places.
Yeah, you guys
and
probably hit
getting
this like
small
rip.
for you.
And Vapor and if you look at Vapor, he's now suddenly a lot taller and
Vapor.
The guardsman. Actually, forget the regular guardsman. Sorcerer Flay is entering the scene, and he looks at you, Vapor. He's a couple guardsmen nearby. He's a wood elf fellow, sharp features, alert eyes. He has a better fashioned suit of armor that has helmet, breastplate. Actually has like a nice city watch captain tabard on it. He's got a nice sword, some pouches, some tooled leather boots, and he his eyes scrunch down and look at you, Vapor. What is all this now?
Wild fucking magic. And Vapor literally just walks over to the
we have enough problems here already without
I
wild
was trying to
magic.
cast detect magic in my magic.
Who is anyone responsible for this?
Sources. It's me, Walykos.
You had best keep this sorcerer on a leash.
He's helping with the investigation. He was looking for magical traces left behind by the Nightstalker.
People, excuse me. You might want to pay attention.
When is it that House Mantivale has resorted to sorcery?
Since one of House Mantivale was attacked last night, on your watch, I'm sure, by the Nightstalker.
Oh, and who might that be?
You know him well. Adriel of House Mantivale.
Adriel was attacked?
Yes, and nearly lost his life.
I don't know of anybody who's survived an attack by the Nightstalker.
Aside from that one person who Arachno interfered.
Yes, but there was no actual attack upon her.
Indeed. Well, Judging by the wounds that I saw on him, which you're welcome to go to the Storm Tower district and see for yourself, the dagger nearly killed him.
I will speak with him after this. He takes off his helmet, gives you a little nod, and then moves over to where the watchmen are.
Are you two done arguing? Because I think I might have found something over. Vapor, are you wearing the high heel shoes?
Fuck you. At this point, Vapor's moved over to the wall just to hit his head on it.
Aygir's just like, motioning
Vapor,
his
did you get
hand from like
skinnier?
where Vapor used to come up to and is now. It's just like
Yeah,
that.
I imagine Vapor actually is now taller than Aygir.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't think so. Aygir's a hobgoblin.
How tall is he?
Like well over 6 feet, probably. Only shorter than a bugbear.
I think you're thinking of bugbear. Hobgoblin is not much more than a human.
Yeah.
I thought they were like a
Hobgoblin's
step
just
up
a
to a
bit over
hobgoblin, and then a
human.
bugbear is even a step further.
So
I think hobgoblins, they are tall, but I think they're around like 6 foot, and then bugbears are around like 7 foot.
Anyway,
So Vapor, you are taller now. Whether or not you're actually taller than Aygir, you guys can go and like do the head measuring thing against the
what
wall.
does a
Let's look at the investigation check.
Yeah.
yes, it's not natural, but it is a 20.
It's a
Dirty
20.
20.
Okay, well, you're going to get some cool information off of that. And then Vapor, you cast Detect Magic.
Yep.
Well, you can rule out anything lingering of magic.
Good.
All right. Yeah, he is also hitting his head on the wall just in frustration of the new
You
height.
discovered the secret door.
Oh, that'd be awesome. It was like,
Aygir.
Like the scene from The Princess Bride.
Okay. 20, that's pretty good. I'll tell you a couple details that could be interesting to you. So you look at the tracks and evidence that Walykos uncovered, and you see, okay, clearly there was the encounter right here. Seems like a pretty short encounter. Doesn't there's not a bunch of footsteps like they were dancing around each other for minutes on end. It seemed fast and brutal. You find the bits of Adriel's blood, and you find no evidence of actual liquid poison. There's like nothing in the blood. There's nothing dripped onto the ground. You see nothing poison residue of any kind. So either the poison all went into Adriel's body, or this was not a coded poison. Maybe it's something in the dagger itself, magical. It's clear that the Nightstalker walked into this small street, walked down this small street, and you can even see where he hid at some different locations. And you also see where it looks like he started to chase Adriel when Adriel ran, but then he stops and he goes back. And for a minute or so, it looks like he's going to walk back the way he came, off, down the street and back out of it, but he doesn't. Only gets a certain ways, and his footsteps just stop.
Which is the spot that Aygir was like specifically.
The spot that Aygir's looking at. Yep. So there's no door or window like within immediate reach. So let's see. Did he like do some kind of leap and jump onto a wall and start climbing? Maybe. Would that leave any evidence behind? Maybe like a muddy spot on the wall? You don't see anything. There's nothing that makes you suspect he did some kind of leap into a climb off of a wall. Maybe he had a teleportation effect.
Right. I was going to say, is there anything that might make me suspect like he misty stepped or
it could be something like a misty step or a dimension door or some other kind of jaunty thing. You have beheld this. Adriel has done it. That half giant at Blackrock Isle has done it. And maybe someone else you saw too.
And that wouldn't leave any
Esper.
trace, though, would it?
Esper.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if there's any rats, animals nearby, like a bird, maybe anything that might have a nest or lives in this alley.
Oh, sure. Okay. There's, I think, a decent chance of that. I'll give it a roll.
Yeah, I'm happy to make any check that you would think, animal handling, so on and so forth.
Excellent. You see a number of things. You see like a little hole that looks like rats gnawed out and rats live in there. You see birds' nests in like the nooks and stoops of rooftops. You see like a little street cat. There's plenty of animals here.
Walykos, just kind of acting on instinct, reaches, plucks a feather from his cloak that just comes right out. It's just magic. And he puts it between his lips, and he's just kind of makes like some sort of mystical whatever that he's saying into it, and then he takes the feather and kind of holds it in front of his face, and he speaks into it. And what I'm doing is speak with animals, is the ability, and it will last for 10 minutes. You gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration. Knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence, but at a minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations of monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day. And you might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favor for you at the GM's discretion. So I would like to talk to the birds first, and then I can go to the rats. Like, it lasts for 10 minutes.
Nice.
So it should be good.
Okay, so you've got here a nice little nest of pebble pecks. These tiny little warbling birds with like nice little round tummies, and they're these soft colors of tans and peach colors and such.
And I imagine, I'm like humming.
Person. Person.
Yeah. I imagine you guys just see me kind of humming into the feather, maybe not even making a verbal, like, I'm not chirping or anything. I'm just, kind of like into the feather, and the birds are chirping back at me. And I'll ask them, little bird friends, have you witnessed this night a bad thing, a creature who was here? And I point down at the footprints. And did you see where it went?
The shadow kills. Shadow killed, but didn't eat the prey.
Yes. What did the shadow
another
do?
fought the shadow.
Yes.
Claws of steel.
Yes. What happened after that?
They flew through, but not as we do. They flew without wings.
Yes. They moved, and then the shadow pursued, but then turned back, and the shadow came here. What did the shadow do after he came here?
He was gone. Steps on the roof.
Steps on that roof there. I'll point and make sure that
the bird joggles its beak and up on the roof of the house that it's on.
Yes.
There's a number of houses and shops, and there's like multiple stories and tiers and plenty of rooftops.
I'm going to turn to the others and say it went up on the roof. We need to get up there and see if we can continue to track it. Sources. I want to give you some info.
Now did you find something?
Yes. As you can see, the tracks lead to here. And then somehow, either through a misty step or a teleportation, he went up on the roof, apparently. I'm going to see if I can find his footprints up there. And,
Teleportation, you say?
Yeah.
Magic, am I to understand you correctly? Perhaps the killer is under your own nose, Mantivale.
Hey, sources, don't make unfounded accusations.
Hearing that, Vapor is going to look at him with his one eye and go, really? Why would I need or want to kill anyone in this city?
Oh, I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
Mantivale has a house wizard or two still, does it not?
Yes, but none of them that I know use a dagger that causes the wounds like the ones that you'll see if you go and investigate what happened to my friend Adriel.
I've looked at Mr. Heather's body.
Mhm.
It is much the same as all the other victims.
Yeah.
Stabbed a few times, brutal wounds, deep punctures, and evidence of some venom, though no traces of the toxin itself.
Yes, well,
No saps, no liquids, no powders.
I'd love to discuss that, but that's not really relevant to finding the killer. So I'm going to go up on the roof.
This is the building here?
That's the building.
Let's take a look.
Yep.
City Watch, please open. Hello? Hello in there. You hear someone, undoing some locks and like moving some heavy object from behind the door. And then this older lady opens the door.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to disturb you, but we need to inspect up top. Is there rooftop access through the upper chambers?
Oh, well, if you can make it up into the attic, I haven't been up there in years.
Thank you. If you will be so kind.
Oh, and don't mind the mess.
And you all go through this old woman's home. It's small rooms, narrow
Vapor
house.
does not. He actually's got a faster way,
And
and it's actually going to meet them up there.
Levitate on up.
Yeah.
Nice.
If I see any of those other uncontrolled surges of yours, we're going to have some problems.
I was going to ask.
Gets
is
a figure
triggering
in return.
Do you
Does
have to
casting
roll
your
on the-
levitation?
No.
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 Are you
Because that's
sure?
an innate ability.
Okay, it's
as
innate
an air
thing. Okay.
Mr. Sir Flay, was it? With the greatest due respect, this one's magic is the least of our worries at the moment. Need you really remind him of that, or us, or even waste the breath to say that? We're hunting a killer.
I'm headed for the attic while you guys.
I have heard of wild magic causing people to erupt into explosions of flame, incinerating themselves, those around them, and igniting buildings on fire. I should not be concerned of this.
I've heard of
I
people
mean-
farting themselves to death. What's your point?
That's
Perhaps you should be using your wit to be tracking this Nightstalker
Aygir
instead of giving me
Turns
lip.
midway through that sentence and
By the
follows
way,
the rest
Vapor
up
does
to the
drop a
attic.
rope down for those who actually want to take the faster way and climb up the rope, which I would figure
So,
Aygir
Adriel,
would.
you immediately get up onto the roof and you see a number of other adjoining roofs. There's a number of them, all clustered nearby. Sometimes there are gaps between the roofs, sometimes small gaps, sometimes larger gaps. Some roofs are on the same level, others are not. It's really, there's nothing patterned or formulaic about it at all.
Yeah.
And you wait up there, and eventually, you hear this rooftop door squeak open like it hasn't been opened in years. And, Sorceress, Aygir, and Walykos come up there, wiping this, attic dust and cobwebs off of themselves.
What kept you?
Yeah. We know that you can float, Vapor.
And Vapor's going to literally thumb over to the rope that he tied off.
I swear.
Thank you for telling us about that.
Yeah, Vapor. If I was in better humor,
Since you
I'd
had
laugh.
time, did you find anything?
Yeah.
I haven't had a great deal of time to check.
All right,
I'm
I'll
not
start-
the most at visually seeing stuff, but detecting stuff with magic, I'm better at.
Let me take a look. I'm good at tracking. I might have some chance of finding anything.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna-
you roll survival. Aygir, do you want to do another investigation?
Yes. Aygir will be specializing in sort of looking for any broken... Is this a tile roof?
Yeah, tile.
Yeah, in
22.
broken removed tiles.
What do you come up with, Walykos?
22 survival.
22. Wow. Okay.
Aygir with a
Plus 8
17
helps.
investigation.
Okay. You do see indications of some footprints up here, Walykos, and they go up the peak of the roof, down the other side,
I'm
and
just
then
following these. Yep.
this probably takes you a little bit of time, but you figured out that they leap over to this other nearby roof,
Okay.
And if you all want, you can jump
I
over there
would
and
like to jump.
Vapor, like pull yourself along.
Yeah.
Aygir, you you got a 17? Okay.
I'm trained in athletics, so I should be fine for a jump.
Yeah.
I'd have to roll really
Aygir,
badly.
you don't get the sense that the Nightstalker was scurrying or hastening along the roofs. It seems like he
Just
walked or was cautious enough, took his time.
Which is good because maybe we'll catch him if we continue at a moderate to speedy pace.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, obviously.
So this goes on for a bit until you reach the edge of like the other side of the cluster of homes, and then below there's another street. So you all go down through whatever means, you get onto the other street, and well, lo and behold, there are indications of these tracks continuing on, and you follow them and you follow them, and they eventually loop back to Strong Castle.
Strong Castle.
Yeah,
You know,
the big structure where inside and outside are dwellings of hundreds and hundreds of elven families.
Have you considered that maybe whoever made these tracks wants to be followed?
No, I wasn't going into deeply thinking about possible deceptions right now. I just was going to follow where it leads.
Fair. I wonder where that Arachno fellow gets off to in times like these. Could be ahead.
Not important right now, Aygir. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to help, but
if only we'd had the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to continue
So
trying to follow the tracks.
You reach Strong Castle. The tracks become pretty much impossible to follow.
Yeah, because
hundreds and hundreds of people walk all over the place here every day.
Yeah,
but they clearly lead into Strong Castle. You don't have any doubts about that.
He's somewhere in Strong Castle. That's as much as we can tell for now. If nothing else, this narrows down where we should set up some sort of I mean, there might be others that saw him. Like, that's what we need. We need witnesses who might point us, because we can't follow tracks, but we can follow witness testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Vapor looks to the that guard and goes, "Well, if you don't mind me trying to cast detect magic again, I can start walking through this place, seeing if I detect any interesting magic."
I mean, it's a big place. Your magic detection doesn't really cover that much space.
As I said, I could start walking through, trying to see if I can find something. Start with the lower levels and work our way up.
You can do anything that you like, just so long as you don't explode the street. But I don't know that, like, your magic didn't detect that he teleported, so I don't know if it would detect anything that's not active going on right now.
Right.
Well, that being said, Vapor, there is something that you can do. Do you have any... You don't have any way of, like, summoning or asking divinations, anything like that? I know that you're mostly combat focused in your magics.
Unfortunately, I do not.
Yeah. Well, even without that, you're probably one of the more persuasive people here. Perhaps you should start canvassing and asking some people in the immediate area if they were awake, if they saw anything odd this morning, heard anything unusual, footsteps of, whatever that might have caught their attention at the time that he would have passed through here. And I can give you an approximate based on his pace. It would have been, 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, whatever it would have been, Esper.
When he returned back to Strong Castle?
Yeah, because I could kind of make an estimate. Like, it would have been between 1 and 2 a.m., kind of like this and that.
Sure.
Which, not to interrupt too hard, but what time is it now?
That is a good question.
Sure.
I would feel better about
Barnacle, I haven't determined how they keep the time, but I think there are actual, like, clock towers or maybe city bells. that
Bells
keep the
was-
time. It's an older tech, obviously, but it functions well enough.
Bells
So,
was right, yeah.
you estimate, Walykos, that Nightstalker returned to Strong Castle about 5 or 6 hours ago, and then right now it would be, I think, like 9 a.m.
So that would have been about 4 bells or 5 bells, or maybe 4 bells or 3 bells, 3 or 4 bells. All right.
Between
In
the
the
fourth and fifth bells.
Somewhere in that range. We're estimating. It's a rough
The
estimate.
3 and 5th bells.
Yeah. So if you could see if there's anyone, maybe there was a night soil remover who was awake during that time or something, someone that would have seen something. But there are definitely people who get up early and they might have been awake during that time and they might have seen an odd figure who just walked at a slow pace. I'm also
Right.
yeah,
Which is all good points. Sources Flay himself is like, he's going to be summoning the guardsmen that were
The
like
cameras.
the late night shift, to ask them what did you see? Did anything happen?
perfect.
Where was your post at? So while he's summoning these guardsmen, do you have anyone else that you'd want to talk to?
Yeah, Vapor would go. So is this just a residential, no shops?
So imagine an old giant's castle. So the rooms, the halls, the corridors are made for things of huge size. So it's of just epic, massive proportions. And it has multiple levels at giant size. And then that got converted over the years by elves. So there's like smaller dwellings inside of that. Some of them would naturally be shops. I think a lot of the shops would also be where people live.
Okay, so
Right.
then what Vapor's going to do?
And there's common folk that live here. There's like, merchant, tradesmen, artisan class people. And then there are some like low ranking nobles, not anyone that's like of Mantivale or Drakestone status, but maybe they're, vying for status and such. So it's a really massive place. Literally thousands of elves live here.
Okay, so Vapor's going to first go to the shopkeeps, because he figured if they're going to have to wake up, they'll most likely be needing to wake up early. They would be the best to ask.
And Aygir, assuming he's been in here a couple times before, is going to sort of just poke around and visually look at the places he knows are the sort of older sections or more disused parts.
Good thoughts.
His
Places
historical
where people
knowledge
might
of the
hide.
structure
Yeah.
might.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let him
so
remember that.
bakeries, dineries would be the first two that
Zagape shop.
And I will look
A
for
lot of people will want that early in the morning to have a little perk up, the same way as people would drink coffee.
Yep. Is there any animal that might be attracted to blood or could smell blood? Like a dog, or like, I know dogs aren't a thing necessarily in MIRRORMOURN, but you know what I'm talking about. Like a scent trail of the blood that he leaves behind.
Maybe some kind of bug, right?
I
Like a
mean,
kind of beetle or something.
are bugs considered beasts?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case in your world, is there something that I could find that I could talk to and maybe I could convince it to track the blood, because their senses, it's almost supernatural, but real world, like there are things that can track a blood trail from like up to a mile away,
Mm-hmm.
in water, like how does it track it through water a mile away?
Maybe
Right. Well, I
that's
think
what
the
rust
idea is that it
monsters-
encounters tiny little particles of blood
I get
that have drifted a mile away.
No, I'm saying it seems like magic to us, like it's supernatural to
It's
us.
certainly
it's-
extraordinary.
It's
maybe that's what
extraordinary.
rust monsters are in this setting.
Yeah.
Blood has iron in it.
Ooh, yeah. All right. So
You just made
Walykos,
rust monsters scary. They want our blood now.
do you have another speak with beast spell?
Oh yeah, I can. So the thing is, that was an ability that I was able to use once per long rest without spending a spell slot.
Nice.
Thanks to the thing, but I can use a spell slot, I believe, to cast again. Let me just confirm.
Yeah, if you know the spell, you can use a spell
Well,
slot.
it's primal awareness. It's an alternate replaced
Mhm.
feature. Let's see. So you can cast each of these spells once without expending a spell slot. Once you cast a spell, well, let's see. It doesn't say that I can do it until I finish a long rest. Well, it says it like a spell slot, so I assume I can, and it shows on the sheet that I can use a spell slot to cast it.
Okay. What do you?
Yeah.
You're looking at what specifically?
I'm looking for a creature that might be attracted to blood.
But what the class thing that you're looking at? What is it exactly?
It's in Tasha's guy, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Okay.
It's the
Primal Awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm going to read about Primal Awareness here.
Yeah, page 57, if it matters. Yeah.
Okay, so you learn these spells when you reach those levels.
Yes.
And you can cast them each once per day without spending a spell slot. Okay.
And if you use it in that way, you can't do it without the spell slot until you finish the long rest. That's how I read it.
Yep. So yeah, if I assume you have just a
first
actual spell slot left over from the two
absolutely.
blueberries, and
Yep.
you cast it again to speak with a beetle that's like in a little dirty corner clinging onto a wall. So it's a beetle. Doesn't have much in the way of intelligence, but
Well, I take a little twig and I let it crawl onto it and I talk to it. Feather. I take my feather and I talk to it using the feather.
All right, so it crawls it onto the feather.
Yeah.
Giant.
Yeah. And I say,
threat?
Small one. No threat. I am friend.
Food?
I want you to help me if you could. There was blood that came through here. A creature that had blood, leaving a trail in his wake.
Blood?
Yeah. I hold it next to
no blood.
Yeah. I'm actually
No
going
blood
to take
here.
it. I'm going to take it back to the last place that we definitively had the tracks, because
there's like these long set of steps that used to be these giant steps, and they got carved into to make medium-sized creature steps. And
I'm going to hold.
Yeah, they're somewhere just beyond the base of the steps is where you're starting to lose track of the Nightstalker footprints.
And this is where I'm going to say, do you detect any blood? Any trace of the scent of blood from here?
No blood. No blood. Food?
And is this, just to be clear, when I picked this beetle, I assume that it was one that tracks blood. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's not determined there's any blood right here right now.
Okay. Well, there was no trace on the knife or anything like that dripped, anything like that? Okay. I will move it around a little. Yeah, I'll move it around a little bit, trying to get a trace of the blood, kind of using it like a dousing, like feather, and be like, can you tell me, is there anything that you detect? Any blood that's fresher, perhaps, recent? I know it won't understand time, but I'm like, fresh blood.
Yep. So you are holding it, and you're tracking back the trail?
Yeah, I'm trying to track back the trail.
So you're tracking back the trail, and you're like, anything, and the beetles just keep no blood here. Hungry, food, no blood. And,
yeah.
And you keep going. You keep going and going?
I mean, only for a little bit. If it can't find any blood whatsoever, then I guess this idea just didn't pan out. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want to spend a long time and go all the way back through the street.
I mean, no. Yeah, that would kind of be pointless to go back to where all the blood of the body was. Yeah. I was going to track it. My thought was this thing is moving and walking, but it's got this dripping blood dagger. It's probably leaving minute traces of blood that I was hoping that the beetle would be able to detect. That, we wouldn't see the blood, but it would smell it.
Okay. So you've gone a little ways up one of the streets you took that got you to a strong castle.
Yeah.
You haven't gone back a extremely far distance, but you determine, let's do something else. Is that what I'm getting?
I mean, we already determined that his footprints went this way. So if it's not tracking blood, then there's no blood, you know.
Yeah, at least not right here.
Yeah. I'll keep it with me. It lasts for 10 minutes, and I will. I guess I'll just try and go back to the end of the trail. And I'll just pick a direction that seems like maybe less,
What about
obvious.
the Zagape shop that Vapor was going to go to?
Okay, yeah.
You want to go there?
Sure.
Yeah, you'll head in.
Okay. So you all go to a Zagape shop in Castle. There is an older elven fellow, skinny man, gray-haired, comes about down to his shoulder, has the top part of it pulled back. He wears this grayish colored clothing that has some blue embellishments on it. Practical clothing. He has a couple of small tables set up. There is, one elven couple, smoking from their pipes, the Zagape smoke, and he has some, wares of Zagape and pipes and other, associated articles on some shelves. And he stands up. Let's see, who is anyone here from Strongcast? No one is. Okay, so we'll say this is the first time you ever met him. So he stands up. Good morning. His eyes like go from one of you to the next. Like clearly, you guys are like armed, dangerous people.
I was hoping you might be able to answer a couple questions. We're looking for someone who came about the time of the 3rd to 5th bells of the morning.
3rd to 5th bells.
If you were up that early.
I got here just shortly before the 5th bell and opened up 1:30. I was inside. I didn't have the storefront open.
Do you know anyone else who's here earlier in this area? Anyone that's a regular, who would be up very early in the morning?
Oh, yeah, the cleaners, the night cleaners.
Do you know who we would speak to specifically?
Well, let me see. I think that Faldus was cleaning last night. Dwarven fellow. If I can remember where he stays. Oh, yes. Well, if you see down there that lantern post, that broken lantern post,
yes.
Just take the stairwell down there to the sub level, and his door's on the left. Let me see. Oh, I don't remember if it's the 3rd or the 4th door on the left. I don't know him very well. I've been there just a couple of times.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's a start. Thank you.
And I'm going to head there. Yeah. Also, I'm going to say to the others, we left Adriel resting, but he might have some detail, something that he knows. We should probably get him if he's, able. Give him, like, he's been resting for 5 hours or like however long it's been, Esper.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you told me he was stabbed with a magic poison knife
twice.
You think he's going to be able to walk?
I mean, I gave him some magical healing, so
he would know. He would know as little of what
he ate 2 clutches of good berries and drank a healing potion. So
yeah,
I think.
I mean, he's not going to be obviously jumping and doing backflips, but I think he'll be able to help us.
Well, would you go and get him while Vapor and I?
I mean, with my eyes, between us, Aygir, who would be better at the investigating? I mean, I can track footprints and things.
You both would be. And I'm
Seems
not
to me
picking him up.
we're not tracking anymore. We're looking for clues.
All right.
Okay,
I can-
so it
I
sounds
can
like
go get him.
Walykos is going to get Adriel.
Yep.
Aygir and Vapor are going to go speak to this dwarven night cleaner. And then hopefully by the time that's all done, Source's Flay will have
I like
woken up the night guards and dragged them down here to talk.
And this will give Aygir and Vapor a chance to do a scene, and then I'll be back with Adriel to bring us all together.
Right.
Okay,
Because
cool.
on the way there, Aygir is definitely going to be focusing on, again, older and disused parts of Strong Castle.
Not that I'm trying to
Just
force
looking
the
around.
party to act together for some reason, but I mean, it's almost like we're a party that wants to play a game.
All right.
Isn't that what they say? Don't unite the party?
Yeah.
That's it. Never unite the party.
So we'll get to Walykos rousing Adriel here shortly. Aygir and Vapor, you're at like the ground level of Strong Castle, and then you're taking a stairwell down to like a sub level. So you are already amongst the common folk and those of lesser means. And you go down into the sub level. It's this corridor, stony masoned corridor. It's actually a pretty good sized corridor now that I think about it. Right, giants built this, so this might have been like an under tunnel at one point of the giant castle. Now it's a corridor that's like been outfitted with dwellings, small homes, and there are these like basic wooden doors and door frames. The paint on them is cheap paint that's fading off and chipping, and it smells a little bit kind of musty and muggy and a little trashy down here. A little dim. What else can I say? You pass by a couple of doors, and just off on the inside, muffled, you can hear dwarven speech behind one of them, elven speech behind another. Somebody's like arguing with somebody else behind a door. And you try the third door, and apparently door number 3 on the left was the right one. And it takes a while for him to answer. A younger dwarven man, kind of a puffy red nose. His beard is not well kempt. You can hear someone like a woman's voice on the inside. You can hear a baby cooing and goo-gooing, and his eyes are like puffy. He looks like you just woke him from the dead of sleep. Oh, what? He has the door cracked. What?
We're looking for someone. We're hoping you might be able to answer a few questions for us to help us in our search. We were told you would be the best to ask.
And Aygir kind of looms forward a little bit.
Your god? Yeah.
We are working
we are
with the
not
guard.
gods, no. We are not with them at all. And Aygir, with his molded, expressionless face of his visor, kind of lifts it to reveal instead his face with his toothy and a little bit fang-ridden smile of a hobgoblin, and says, we are not with the gods, no. We are different from them.
I had trouble.
You're not in any trouble. You might actually help us prevent more trouble.
Yes, we want to know what you have seen.
Good or bad, it doesn't matter to us.
You have eyes, you have a mind.
I
want to know what the one told to the other.
No promise. No promise.
No need to make promises. Only there's a need to tell us what you have seen in these past few hours.
Specifically between the 3rd and 5th bell
Yes.
of the morning.
I will clean.
Did you see anyone else?
Remove trash. Yeah, remove trash. There was a spill up in the dance deck.
And did you see anyone notable walking by?
Gods, just some not gods.
Anyone looking like they were trying not to be seen?
I didn't see anything.
Who other than the night guards would be up at that time?
Yeah, this level here, just I worked last night.
Only you were working last night.
He was only on this level, is what he said?
No, he was on the dance floor. No, whatever the dance level was.
Yeah, there and some other part. I take the trash. Yeah. So he's like he put out some trash. He did some cleaning rounds. There was something up in a dancing area that he cleaned. He said he was the only one doing cleaning last night. He saw night watchmen. So nothing. I see nothing.
You saw no one other than gods. No one at all other than gods. You are sure of this?
No.
No, as you're not sure, or no, as you only just saw the gods.
Just gods. I see nobody.
Did you hear anything unusual?
No.
Or smell anything? Was there anything that was different tonight than any other night of your cleaning?
Yeah, normal.
Not even for a moment. It was only routine.
Forgettable night. Nothing was happened that I could see.
Now, there's no potential that this guy has been maybe not out and out lying, but at least like trying to hide something. Is there?
Make an wisdom insight check.
All right. It's a good thing I'm.
Yeah, why not? I'll make a shot. I don't think I'm gonna pass.
Ooh. I ended up with a 16.
Okay. Vapor?
8.
8.
Oh, no, wait. Insight? Oh, wow. Wait. Hold on. I'm going to re-roll because I think I hit my tray when I moved, and it bounced the dice.
Did the die land face up on your surface?
Yeah, well, no, because it was...
And that's a roll, and you don't re-roll that.
Sorry. All right, then never mind. I won't do an insight check because it was weird. I looked down and it was one number, then it moved, and I don't remember what the first number was.
I think that's called rolling a dice.
No, it stopped moving.
At least it was not epic, crucial life or death thing.
No, so yeah, I won't make that check because
that would have been weird.
I don't want.
All right, so let's say I got a Vapor on 8. All right, and Aygir got a 16. All right, so Vapor, from as far as you can see, is what it is. Get what you get. Aygir, it seems like he's not really wanting to talk to you, but he is cooperating in his own way. You don't get a hunch that he is telling lies or misleading you. You have no gut hunch that senses that.
Right. I mean, the Nightstalker has been sneaky this whole time and has been very good at not getting caught. I wouldn't expect this guy would necessarily know anything because Nightstalker could have been invisible, could have been teleporting, could have done any number of things. Yeah. Well, then, in the time before Adriel and Walykos show up, Aygir will be in favor of, again, just looking at old, disused places, places where maybe there aren't natural gatherings of people or like dwellings within here that have been abandoned for a while or just, deserted stairwells, etc.
Okay, cool. Whatever skill check you'd like to relate that to, go ahead and give it a roll.
All right, I'm going to probably go with investigation unless it's history.
I think investigation sounds right.
Well, that is not brilliant, but not terrible. That's after modifiers of 15.
Well, there are some parts of the sub-level of Strong Castle that are somewhat seedy. You don't exactly feel like you're in danger or you're in some highly run down area. It never gets that hairy, but there are some rough corridors, we could say, rough spots, disused. You find the close. You don't really find anything you would consider disused. You find one dwelling. I'm calling it a dwelling because it's kind of like an apartment, right? You find one dwelling that the door is like it's propped open, and you know it's just in passing peek in, and you can tell that it was either abandoned or the person was kicked out, or someone left it in a bad state, and there are a couple of guys in there working, like cleaning and repairing things. But nothing about it seems out of the ordinary in the least.
And no places that just jump out as obvious. You know, if you were trying to hide from people or move secretively, you would go through here.
Not at all. Now, obviously, there's no way for you to see everything. These are big, long corridors with lots of doors.
Right.
And there's like connecting stairwells, and you know, who's to say what's behind every door? But nothing strikes you as what you have described as like, this is particular suspiciousness, or whoa, this would be an ideal place for a killer to be hiding. So let's get Adriel and Walykos on the scene. We can just cut to when Adriel and Walykos arrive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adriel, how are you doing? You've slept some. You drank a healing potion. You ate 2 bunches of good berries.
Stabs and poison hurt.
Yeah, you've got like bandages, like herbal bandages wrapped around your whatever, your midsection.
What? Just a quick question. Just kind of like mechanic wise, would I be back to full health? Would I not be? Like, what's the?
So you don't.
You could have spent hit dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you might actually be back at full hit points.
Let me do that.
It'd be more narrative, your lingering wound.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I just wanted to check for like mechanic.
Thankfully, you didn't gain a level of exhaustion because
you didn't actually get knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
So,
good or worse.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to say that you don't have any serious wounds. You experience serious pain and like great disorientation from the
But
poison.
no organs were hit by the dagger. It
Organs
kind of
weren't
missed.
hit, arteries weren't hit, bones weren't hit. You've received
They were technically really
three
bad
different
flesh wounds.
doses of magical healing. You've spent hit dice, so probably you're just like it hurts there, but you're not doing that bad. I mean,
He hit you.
you're a
all the
5th
right
level
spots.
character now. You're made of a fairly strong stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, I spent so when I roll the hit dice, I do add in the con. So
Con
correct.
yeah.
I use 3 hit dice, and I'm back to 45 hit points, not
Okay.
46. So, but I'm 1 down, but I'm good now.
Okay, excellent. So you all are there. Is there anything you want to do right before Source's Flay comes out with the roused night watchman?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Adriel real quick. Obviously, there's probably stuff we talked about on the way, but I'm just going to kind of cut through that and assume that we did that. Adriel, we're having trouble finding him. We've tracked him to Strong Castle, but he's disappeared in the crowd. We don't know if maybe was seen by anyone, but the only people who would have been awake during that time were either night cleaners, or I'm hoping that some people that you might know, perhaps there's some symbols of thieves' cant that you might be able to find an informant who might maybe they just wouldn't talk to the police, but they might talk to you and say, oh yeah, there was this giant sneaking around in Strong Castle, and we don't fuck with him because he'll fuck with us.
Oh wait, nobody said the Nightstalker was giant.
Well, he's a big guy. Didn't you
Was
say, Esper, he was a big guy?
I would say he was a hair over 6 feet tall and definitely of a muscular build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
will. I'll look around and
strong, larger fellow, but still medium size in the range of
right.
in the range of elves and humans.
Not like
like a
large
And
skin.
hobgoblins.
I will.
Now, well,
I'll look-
okay, so now it's probably worth mentioning that I would think Aygir probably does know every single other documented hobgoblin in Barnacle, right?
Probably
That's
so.
the-
Yeah, there's probably not
Yeah,
very
yeah.
many of them.
Yeah.
Well, I will look around to see if there's any thieves' cants or if any
Yeah,
thieves
look over
possibly
shop
around, yeah.
shop doorways and things like that. And even if they weren't awake and aware, they might be able to put the word out because technically you're not part of a gang, but you're part of a, I don't know if it's a
culture.
brotherhood.
Culture.
Yeah, you might be able to incentivize them to give up some information if we were willing to pay or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'll look around, see if there are any thieves' cants around here. Maybe there was like some rascal around hiding, watching, something like
It's like, man in the store is a fence, or this is where you go to get information.
that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so down in those I'm calling them tunnels, but don't think of them as cramped tunnels. They're like giant-sized tunnels. We'll call them under corridors. And down here dwell a lot of dwarves, but also some like elves and human admixture people. It's sort of the lower rung of Strong Castle, which is like one tick above the slums. It's not slums, but it's, it's the bottom of the barrel for Strong Castle. And you come across this one wall that has, some people might call it vandalism, like graffiti style. Others might call it, it's like a dwarven subculture art, because it does actually have some artistic talent put into it. And there is one word. There's two words, and one's in Thieves' Cant. They're right next to each other. The first word's a name, and it says Minky. And then the second word is like, it's Thieves' Cant, but it equivalents to like gotcha, right? How would you? Yeah, I'm trying to get to the feeling of it. It's like
surprise.
It's like no, it's like Minky is your girl.
Oh,
or
like she's gotcha.
Like, yeah, or it's like it's your girl Minky.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's kind of dumb for me to put that in real modern lingo, but that's the feeling behind it. It's Thieves' Cant. So the word is just this like, it's like half the letters are upside down and half of them are just these squiggled symbols that no one's going to understand. But you're like, okay, there's someone who's like very proud of herself and boastful. And, if you're super cool, then she would be, someone who'd get along with you.
Yeah.
Minky.
I'll look to Wally.
She's done this this kind of art form it's dwarven art. It's real geometrical. And it's like this castle with a face that's like eating other like smaller houses.
Yeah, I'll look to point of order before you say this, Adriel. I just want to ask, did we meet up with Aygir and Vapor? Because that was my
you're all four together.
Okay,
cool. Good. Then
all right, awesome. Well, I'll look to everyone and say, apparently there's someone called Minky around here.
Who's using Thieves' Cant in her signing of her art.
Do you think that maybe she would have she might know what's going on in this area?
Seems like this is sort of her area.
Her stomping grounds.
Her stomping grounds, yeah. If we can find her, we may be able to get some information out.
I saw some gnome. Well, no, that was a different district. I saw some gnome children. Let's see if we can find some people, some locals, and maybe we can get them to tell us who this Minky is.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. I could perhaps leave a message for her as well if we wanted to meet up if we can't find her.
I mean, go ahead, do your thing.
Do we have a meeting place that we want to meet at?
Probably the Spit Whistle would be my immediate thought. Like, it's a fume hovel, so it's discreet, as it were.
All right,
we've used it as such before. Yeah.
Or if there's one in this area, then that would probably be more comfortable in her backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, then Adriel in Thieves' Cant, he'll sort of kind of scratch out something saying like, need information, meet in
Does Adriel pull out his spray can?
But I'll sort of somehow like chisel in on the wall or do some graffiti and do basically, need information, meet at Spitzhavel, looking for you, or maybe not looking for you, that sounds bad, but basically need information, let's meet Spitzhavel at whatever
whistle.
Spit Whistle, yeah, Spit Whistle, need information, let's meet at Spit Whistle, willing to pay, like willing to work with.
Okay.
Or so, yeah.
So so you leave her in Thieves' Cant this this lead or this job.
Yep. And I'll give like the time as well, like, I don't know, like in an hour or 2 hours or whatever
Okay.
works for us.
And you
yeah.
say you just like chalked that on the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Anything else before speaking with the guards?
Well, I asked Aygir and Vapor what they found out, like while we were gone.
Not a fair bit more than you did. The night cleaner didn't see anything out of the ordinary, he says.
So wait, but he was in the area at the time?
He was at least on the lower level and on something called the dance deck.
Okay, but I don't know what that means. Is that the area that we think that he went through?
I don't
And
know
he
what
was-
it means either. I have no idea if he went through there.
Well, why
How
didn't you
could I
ask
know?
that question? That's an important question to know whether he was even witness.
I asked. He said he was around here, around this general area, and that's where he said he went.
He indicated the lower level, the ground level.
And Esper to confirm that's where we know that it at least went into.
Right.
Yeah. The
Okay.
entrance that he went in, that the Nightstalker entered into,
So-
is like the main or one of the main entrances, goes to the ground level.
Yep.
There's like a big plaza. There's
Yep.
lots of shop fronts and
Foot
houses.
traffic and such, yeah. So Aygir, if he didn't see
And plants.
anything,
There's like big potted plants too. They're quite lovely.
maybe he's in one of the pots of the plants. He just buries himself.
His head.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say is Aygir, if he didn't see anything, and he was actually there during that time, we should consider the fact that the Nightstalker either can hide himself from sight, or that maybe he was invisible or something along those lines. So
I think if he wields a magic dagger and he is associated in some way with Baal Vonda, then there is no end to the possibilities he might be using.
I
some
mean,
sort of
the foot
magic.
trips, he could have been invisible since, he teleported, or even further. If the foot tracks were left, that makes sense why we were able to track him. We need some way of like, I don't even know if the thieves might have seen something suspicious. Like they might have heard or seen something. But we need to really figure out how we're going to attract this invisible guy who just strikes at random throughout the city.
I have a way, although it can't just pull invisible beings out of nowhere. Basically, Aygir describes the spell Fairy Fire, which you can cast on an invisible creature if you know roughly where it is.
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
But, it doesn't help really if we don't already know more or less where.
That's more of a after we found him solution. This is more of a how do we find him in the city. Like, we know he came here at least. Let's talk to the guards. I have some suggestions. Maybe they can help us. I mean, who knows? Maybe the NPCs will actually be helpful and solve this problem for us.
Why not just use Adriel as bait? We claim that Adriel is going to tell everything by tomorrow. The only chance
Tell
for him
what?
to be silent. Tell who the Nightstalker is. He's still recovering, but by tomorrow he'll be able to speak. Lay an ambush. The Nightstalker will have to come to finish him. You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
I think Vapor is saying if I lie about it and say I'm going to expose the Nightstalker, he might attack me again. And then we could get him.
I get that, but how would you expose him? Everyone knows the Nightstalker exists. If you can't actually locate him,
The identity.
But did Adriel even see the identity?
Doesn't matter.
It's not like he doesn't know what Adriel knows. I mean,
He doesn't. He might not know who Adriel is. Adriel might claim he had a way to identify him.
If the claim is made that a member of House Mantivale knows the identity of the Nightstalker, perhaps it could carry enough weight to gain attention, and perhaps if the Nightstalker hears about it, he could come back out tomorrow night. I'm sorry, Walykos. I don't think we are necessarily going to catch him while the sun is up.
No, but the thing is that plan makes no sense to me. The plan, based on Adriel's description of the event, he was wearing a mask. And unless Adriel was actually a threat to him, then why would he expose himself?
We
He was-
make
come
Adriel
after
that
Adriel.
threat.
He was much more
Adriel
of a threat
isn't
to me. He was much more of
Yeah.
a threat to me than I was to him.
But if we make Adriel appear as though he's a threat, he will need to remove that threat, thus giving a shot at him.
The problem is that's relying on the premise that Adriel actually is a threat to him, and it relies on the premise that the Nightstalker considers Adriel a threat. If the Nightstalker doesn't care about Adriel knowing or not, because I mean, unless he works during the daytime and he has a double life, then I don't think he cares. Who knows that he's
Well, then tell me, Walykos,
yeah.
what do you think the Nightstalker, if indeed he or it is in league with Balefonder, knows about you?
I mean, he probably knows me. He probably does know about me.
Then maybe Adriel is not the bait for the trap that we thought.
Walykos is kind of silent as he
I
mulls
would
this
not
idea over.
ask you to enter into this lightly, given the circumstances, but you might be more a key than any of the rest of us.
I did work for Balefonder for a time, and I'm sure that he had planned that I would be the Nightstalker before my replacement, whoever this is.
Perhaps the
This
chance
person
to-
might even know me personally. We might have been in the same
It's possible.
same group that worked together.
And to eliminate his predecessor would undoubtedly earn him some credit, or it. I say him as if it's a known.
This all
person.
assumes that there's some sort of like it assumes that there's an ego that can be played upon, and I'm okay with trying it. But Adriel described this thing as almost a motionless monster. That
It didn't. It didn't seem to have any sort of ego as you're describing. It was. It just killed, walked away, didn't even run from me. I called out to it. It didn't respond. It only responded once I attacked it, and it didn't even flinch when I hit it with all my force.
This could be more of a construct than a man, if or some sort of undead. Even it's hard to
Emotions
say.
can deaden pain,
Someone
make you zone.
Someone must be
There's
pulling the
many
strings.
explanations.
That was my thought too. There could be someone controlling this, and that's why it returns to them during the day and then it goes out at night.
You, if any of us, would know. If you were to be turned into something like this. Do you not know
I think it is
anything of the
important.
process?
Esper, is there anything I can dredge from my time with Balefonder that might be a clue that could lead us? I mean, we're dragging the bottom of the barrel here. We've tried.
Sure. Yeah,
tracking
so I'll
blood,
say a couple
tracking
things, and we're
footprints.
going to get onto the guards because I'd like to keep things rolling
The
along.
flow.
So
Yeah.
you in your mind, Walykos, kind of remember back and scroll through names and faces. So there are a number of people that it could be. I'm not going to dump down this list of NPCs just right here and now, but we can leave it at that for the moment. You're like, okay, it
maybe
could be from this handful. So I mean, it's something to go off of, right?
If I see them in the street, you'll mention
some
them, Esper.
faces. Yeah, I will say this.
Yeah.
You are not confident that you know the real names of a lot of the people that were there at Balevonder's lair.
Yeah.
Right. Even you didn't really go by your real name.
Does the 6 foot?
But there are faces in your memory. You're like, you would probably remember that face if you saw it. And in remembering the face, it would be that you'd remember the person, whatever interaction or level of familiarity you had from your time with Balefonder.
Does the dagger trigger anything that I would have known about?
Not specifically. No,
Okay.
You're not sure exactly what that dagger is.
Okay.
And then there's one thing that Adriel can know that maybe will help you rule out as you were just going through these possible lists of what the Nightstalker could be, as in like creature type.
Yeah.
The way that he moved and the way that he felt when you struck him, None of that seemed like a construct.
Yeah.
It
He
felt like
did
flesh.
seem to be of bone
Flesh.
and flesh,
Yeah.
right? Undead, possibly. Humanoid, possibly. Fey, possibly. What else could it possibly be?
Not a monstrosity. Probably
Not a
not.
monstrosity. Yep. Nothing in those tracks to you seemed like a monstrosity, Wally, because you had no
Indeed.
monstrosity hunch, no
Indeed.
monstrosity sense tingling.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it seems like humanoid, maybe undead, maybe fey. Those are your best leads, but nothing about it seems like a construct to you, Adriel. And you saw like you could see like his eyes between the beyond the eye slit, and there's a little bit of glistening in the eye, like an eye would have. So, sources
Eyes that were of like an extremely rare color, indicating that he can only be an albino master from this island.
Sources Flay arrives with the couple guardsmen that were already with him, and 2 guardsmen that have like bags under their eyes and like clearly have been woken up out of their sleep. The night watchmen. Sources Flay still has like his helmet under his arm and is at a dutiful pose. Well, have you all uncovered anything of import?
Unfortunately, all that we know is that his tracks led to this location. The night watchman, or the night, not watchman, the night cleaner said, and we believe that he's being truthful, that he saw nothing unusual. It was just like the nights before, he said. So either, since he was awake and in the area at the time, either he was not keen enough of eye or ear to hear or see what was going on, or the Nightstalker has a way of moving unseen, in plain view of the plaza.
Well, then, alas, I don't have much more to add to that. The night watchmen here saw and heard nothing unusual as they stood watch over their posts and made rounds. So,
can we perhaps?
It is shadowy in many areas of Strong Castle at night. He could be a master of stealth. I don't think anyone would discount that.
Yeah.
Does he have further capabilities, magical? Well, that also is a possibility. I'm sure you all have been speculating over it as I have.
Yeah. I think we should focus the investigation, though, here in Strong Castle. If we can find him either entering or leaving, we don't have to engage him, but if we could follow him, I wish, Adriel, I know that you wanted to try to take him out, but I wish that you had just followed him. Perhaps you could have figured out where he was going, and that could have given us a huge clue to where he layers during the day.
Yes,
not that I'm blaming you, Adriel. I know that
That would have been most helpful,
Yeah.
but we have narrowed it down to Strong Castle.
Yes.
And it seems that it is likely he is here somewhere in this district right now.
Can
possibly
sources? I don't know how much pull you. Yeah, I don't know how much pull you have, but is there a way we could do a curfew of some sort to clear the streets?
Rest assured, I'll be implementing a curfew as well as posting additional watchmen at every entrance and exit of Strong Castle.
And
would it also be possible to have some
sand put down at the entrance to notice footprints of an invisible person walking by?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that.
And perhaps some watchmen who are not so visible?
What do you propose? Some sort of blind?
Or hiding them in shops or somewhere where they're not easy to be seen. And yes, that sand idea, actually, that's, sorry to say that I didn't expect it of you, but it's rather impressive that you're able to think of something like that.
This is a job, yeah.
If the Nightstalker is amongst us at this moment, in some home or some nook or perhaps even some hidden chamber, then he'll be hard pressed to exit without someone noticing it. Now,
There was discussion.
There is very much a problem, though, of the great risk this puts the guardsmen at. Now, I am seeing that you all are up for such a task.
I was going to
it might be better that we rally the knights and your own selves to stand these watch posts.
Yes, I was going to suggest we would offer ourselves as a bait if the streets are empty, but we're there in the plaza or we could stay in an alley nearby where he'd be more likely to strike, drawing him out. He doesn't seem to have any fear, as it were. He only seems to react to threats to himself and potential, like when Arachno attacked him and hit him with, I heard it was a poison dart?
Crossbow bolt.
Poison crossbow bolt. Well, that kind of rules out that he might be undead. We were thinking he might be some form of undead, but if poison worked on him, then most likely he's a living creature.
I don't know such particulars.
Yeah, we just heard rumors.
House Mantivale would probably be the ones that have such knowledge, so I will take your word on it.
Yeah. How about this? I propose that we set up...
would rise to bait?
I suspect that if there are no other targets of opportunity, he either chooses his targets specifically or he chooses them by opportunity.
Which you of all people should know if there is anything connecting together his most recent victims.
Yeah. Was there any connection between this victim and the previous ones?
Nothing that I've uncovered.
No location.
Old man Heather was a cobbler. He's been out of work for some time, and he has been known to mill about the streets after dark. I won't tarnish or dirty what honor is left in his name by speculating what he was doing out there.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't know if the Nightstalker will rise to bait. It might be worth a try, but Adriel, you said yourself, he only attacked once you engaged him. Otherwise, he was fit to abscond.
Exactly. No, he didn't even respond to my yelling at him, to my calling out.
Well, perhaps then we need to stake out this district like you suggested. And honestly, if we're inside the district, we might see him moving about. If we've plugged up the holes, as it were, around the exits, then he has limited options. He either kills inside or he tries to cross the border and we set the alarm.
He could go out a window.
Well, we should watch those too.
Yes, we'll have to have all the eyes that we can muster.
He seems to use the rooftops as well. So maybe if we're on the rooftops, we might see him crossing and jumping, from roof to roof.
This place is so big. We don't have the men for it. I mean, we could have enough men for it. We could muster all of the guards, soldiers, even conscript militia if we need. We don't have the capable men for it to watch every single possible exit.
Yeah.
We've only been discussing the ground level. There are the upper floors too.
Correct. Sources, this is beyond the scope of what your men can handle. I suggest that Adriel and I go and we talk to one of the nobles.
I have half a mind to just have every single house searched immediately here.
I mean, if you have the
easiest way to find him, and it would prevent us from being reactive. We would be on the offensive, the actual vanguard, as we're supposed to be.
You yourself said there are windows, and if he catches the faintest whiff that there is a general search on, what would keep him from not escaping as soon as he knows?
Adriel would
know. Slate looks this way and that as you say so. There's people milling about. There's people working, eating, going about their lives. It's just massive space.
Yeah.
It's not a needle in a haystack, but it's a grape in a haystack.
You cannot kill a fly with your hand. For the air motion disturbs
What about
the
that
vibe.
dagger? That dagger is unique. You saw it. Is there some divination that could perhaps locate the dagger?
Adriel?
Locate object of some sorts, perhaps.
I mean, Adriel doesn't have magic, but does he know of? I mean,
You saw
did
the
he get the?
dagger.
Yeah, I did see
You
the
were stabbed
dagger.
by the dagger.
It was poor lighting. It was low lighting, but you did get something of a look at it. You know,
Can you
imagine like
describe
the
it?
shadowy shape of the dagger, and then like one side that's like this low light that's like showing these
is
pattern, these
spindle?
geometrical patterns, and this like straight blade that like comes into this wicked sharp straight point at the end.
I guess Adriel would say perhaps on a spindle could help us with this. I know that he has
Well,
he has much
can't-
knowledge
he
of
can't leave
magic.
he can't leave his tower.
Is there
Totally.
so is there anything, first of all, just that when the dagger was described that Aygir could pick up on?
So
Being
I
a
would
historian and
I would
skilled
like
in such
first
knowledge.
Adriel to make a
Intelligence, maybe.
intelligence check. Making just straight up intelligence check, Adriel. This is Adriel remembering.
Don't
and
forget you have
actively
inspiration, Adriel.
describing.
Oh, I do have inspiration. Yeah, I'll use my inspiration here
Ooh, okay.
if that helps out because I don't have good. Thought I used inspiration. First
I
roll
thought
was a
I had
7.
inspiration from last
Second
time.
roll was a natural 20.
Ooh, okay. Which gives you a total of
20.
20.
Yeah.
That's fine. At least it wasn't in like an 18 or something. Okay. Duh, it was a knife. Okay, so Adriel, you
That's not a knife. It was a knife.
it was a knifey. All right, so Adriel, you have this burned image. This image burned into your memory sharply, and you will never forget the look of that dagger as it fell and stabbed you. And you accurately and concisely describe it to Aygir, who I think is cooking up a history check, is what it sounds like.
I expect an image of this in next month's newsletter. And yes,
but that means I would have to give it stats too.
Yeah.
So...
and
I'm getting that blade Esper.
Okay, I
When we
expected
kill the
you
Nightstalker.
have
That
until
dagger
next
is
newsletter
mine.
to find,
dagger is
kill the
mine.
Nightstalker and identify the dagger.
all right, well, let's see what this history check tells us. Maybe that could be the start of a thing. Oh, that very nearly landed on the 20, but landed on the face next to it. Okay, 14 plus 7 is 21.
That's really good.
That one's good. Okay. You don't know this specific dagger, but from the description of it, it is definitely of giant make. It is of how can I describe it? It seems to be an old giant's dagger of legend.
And it's a dagger made by giants, which is usable as a dagger by somebody the size of.
Well, it'd be
it's
more like
magical.
a short sword.
Well, if it's
Okay.
magical,
Or for
don't
you.
magical like items like they
Um,
shrink and
I think
I know that
it,
works
well,
with
in my
armor.
games, armor does like within reason. You know, I don't
Mhm.
think like a fire giant's armor would. But if it's like a dwarf and you're an elf, like okay, sure, you're still the same size category.
You're not going to take the armor off a Titan and like it magically shrinks down. Now you got this
But
legendary.
that's what the rules says,
Right.
Walykos. That's what the rules say.
Though
Take
there
your
still is something to Aygir's point. So it does seem like a dagger that was made specifically to be able to be used by both giants and,
And
from their perspective, smaller folk.
slaves. Yeah.
There must be more to this dagger than you are aware of, Aygir. So there's still part of it in the dark, but it's like it is a legendary thing that we're talking
Well, now
about
he
here.
does want to talk
so-
to Spindle about it.
Hang on. Yes, that's all well and good. But this all comes to a very important point. Adriel described it in such detail, even the shapes on it. That's a unique item. That sort of item, if we can find someone who can cast Locate Object, they'd be able to walk the district and potentially find it wherever it's hiding.
Yeah. No, for sure, because like Adriel,
Even if the guy
like,
takes off his
technically-
mask and looks normal, we'll find the dagger where it's hidden.
with Adriel, like, he he remembered it so well. He knows exactly what it looks like. He even has technically touched it because it touched him. So like
Yeah.
he has very close contact
Yes.
with it. So
We could
So,
try
Adriel,
hammering.
who do you know? Who do you know? Well, let's see. There's
wait, what
there's,
about my grandfather?
Yeah.
What about Duncan
Grand-
Mantivale, Master of Rituals?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So
He
Adriel might
wants
be
to
like.
prove himself.
And
Yeah, I
the
guess
second-
Adriel, like while thinking
Got
about this,
blackmail
and
too.
yeah, while thinking about this, he'll think and then he'll like kind of look to Walykos and kind of like grimace a
just
little bit and
nod.
say,
Mm-hmm.
"I think that my grandfather
Yeah.
be able to help with this, unfortunately."
And right as Adriel says that, Aygir holds up what he's been frantically drawing with charcoal, an exact replica from Adriel's memory of the dagger. This look about right?
Are you? It does it look
I mean,
like?
it was shadowed when you saw the thing, but to your recollection, that's as good as one could do.
Okay.
On
Yeah,
a
that
rendering.
does
Take
look-
this with
that
you
looks-
for any of those purposes.
Appreciate it. I don't think I'll ever forget what that.
Yeah,
dagger
there's like
looks
some kind
though.
of like crossing knotwork thing that's near the hilt, and there's something that goes across like the center of the blade, and
Well, yes, I believe our
the
best bet
general
would be-
shape of it is good too.
I believe our best bet would be my grandfather.
I put a hand on Adriel's shoulder. I know, and I say, Adriel, I know that this is going to be difficult for you. And I know that you don't want to do this, but you nearly died. I think it's time to put aside any, anger that you might hold at the man, and he'll be a help. He'll be able to, solve this problem for us. We've tried multiple ways of, solving this problem. He might have the key that will break this wide open. Can you and will you ask your grandfather to help us?
Well, I don't want to, but I don't think there's another way. Yes, I think I can, and I can do that.
All right, let's. It's been a couple days. Let's go see your grandfather then. Although
right.
I would suggest that we get a long rest in at some point so that we can ideally recover ourselves. But that's neither here nor there necessarily. Let's get this plan prepared.
Go
That's
to
I was doing a
old
quick.
Granddaddy
I was doing a
Mantivale.
quick sketch, so
Oh.
maybe something like this.
Ooh,
Okay.
fancy.
It's mine. We kill it. That's mine. It's my dagger.
Mm-hmm. Man,
I'm
shame that
steal-
Walykos still doesn't use daggers. I probably could use a dagger if it's that magical. I'd make it work.
Well, it sounds like it's
steal-
actually probably a short sword.
I'm a steal.
Yeah,
it.
I called it a long dagger in the scene. Statistically, it'd be like a short sword.
Oh,
Okay,
that works for me.
I could use a short sword. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either of
Both
us
swords.
could. Yeah.
D6 martial finesse weapon deals piercing.
If it's a legendary item, let's face it, we're going to use it. It could be the most evil thing in the world. We'll just be like, we could probably use it for good, right? The One Ring.
Adriel will use it for good.
Why not give the ring to Gondor and use it against the enemy? Okay.
Yeah. Seems
We have a
Gandalf,
little.
why
we have
don't
a
you
little
take
bit of
the
time.
ring?
We have a little bit of time left. So,
Yeah.
what would your next step be? Would it be
I think
to
grandfather,
rest? Grandfather.
I think
I think
grandfather first.
set up things with grandfather before we rest. I think rest is in preparation to do the thing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's probably midday now, and you all are, you're tired, but you're running on that adrenaline type energy. So your body is kind of lagging, but you're whatever. Grab some street food real quick, take a puff of Zagape, and you keep going, and your mind is wired, and you go to the Storm Tower district, which is actually adjacent to Strong Castle. So it's it's just a walk of some 5-10 minutes to get there, and you can see the Storm Tower itself dominating just there in the kind of eastern direction from Strong Castle, and you go and you seek out your grandfather, Duncan Mantivale. Since we're pressed for time, I'm of a mind to get right into it. So it takes you a couple hours to get access to him. You have to speak with some people. You have to walk through some places, and he is wearing white robe, jowly, pudgy man. He has graying hair. He's an older elf, probably in his early 60s, I want to say. Yeah, it's 61 or something. I probably have an age on here somewhere. And
change lately, yeah.
Yes. Duncan Oh my gosh. I've had this all wrong all along. He's actually 88 years old. He is an elf though. So elves age a little more gracefully than humans. So I'd say in human years he's 60, but in elf years he's 80.
Well, I mean, you noted that people that do these magic rituals and things sometimes are known to extend their lifespan beyond
right.
a little bit.
Okay. So you're meeting with him in a private chamber. He's got on a white robe, simple kind of outer vestment laid on top of that. And his eyes are slightly pink and bloodshot looking. And he asks you to come in. Please, won't you sit down?
Adriel will not sit down. He will stay standing. He still doesn't like that he's here. He's just doing it because it's the last option.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care for the courtesies right now.
Well,
thank you for seeing us, Duncan Mantivale.
Oh, you see his fingers fidget a little bit nervously. Well, if there's anything that you want to say, you might have just come out and say it. I haven't been doing so well since the other night.
I still think you're a scheming, wretched, disgusting old man. However, we do need your help. We're trying to...
You see him kind of bite his tongue, he wants to say something back to you, but he doesn't, because he did find out that you are a murderer.
Yeah. Also, you're an 88. He's an 88-year man, and you're what, 20, 30? You're this young pipsqueak. You weren't even alive during most of his lifetime.
So yeah, he seems very anxious and jittery, and he's basically telling you please just, if you're here to do something,
we're not here to
bring some terrible doom upon me.
We need your help, grandfather. Recently, I was attacked by the Nightstalker, and I barely escaped with my life. Don't act like you care. Now, we need your help finding him. He had a blade, and then I'll actually bring up the drawing that Aygir showed. Aygir drew this from my memory. I remember it's exactly how I remember it as well.
Giant weapon, we believe, a legendary giant blade.
We think that perhaps you could help us locate him with some magic.
If you can either provide us the magic ritual, I'm sure Vapor would be able to cast it. Maybe even Aygir would be able to cast it. If you provided the means to cast it, or if you were willing to send yourself or someone in your place to cast the ritual. We know where he is in this. We have a district. We've narrowed it down to where he's at.
I do have locate object inscribed in my spell book. I could prepare it on the morrow.
A scroll, perhaps?
Well, I would prepare it tomorrow morning as one of my daily magics.
Well, wait, I thought that you wizards could just spend some time studying your spell book and swap it out within a short period of time.
Oh, clearly you are no wizard.
No, I'm not.
No, I would need time, rest and focus and meditation.
All right.
Well,
If-
then I think that you best get on that now.
Yeah, I believe that we need to try to. If he's going to come out tonight, we need to be ready, and this is the best means we have of tracking him before he escapes.
Tonight, you say? I could have
you
it
be able?
available tomorrow.
There's no way, nothing that you can do that would allow you to cast it sooner. No scroll of it.
There are much that wizards command, but we do not command the forces of the cosmos to that level that we can rewrite at what pace we can call our spells into mind. He has to complete a short rest, which can only take once every 24 hours, and then spend like an hour.
You mean a long rest?
Spells. Yeah.
It's the wizard rules. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at yeah. All right. Well, I guess then all we can do is wait. Like, if there's no other way, then this is the only way I see. Otherwise, the district of Strongcastle is just too large to search door by
Do you
door.
happen to have an apprentice or someone you know that could cast the spell that has it prepared already?
Well, we could certainly ask.
I mean, why not?
Bear with me one moment.
Yep.
As someone who played a wizard, I understand the struggle of not having a spell that you need. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all leave the Storm Tower and you go to one of the adjacent towers that are in the district. They're just not the Storm Tower proper, one of the smaller towers, right?
Yeah.
Where one of the other branches of Mantivale or even like beholden minor houses dwell. And you go to the tower of House Hallows. Well, you just met with Hallows, who
Sounds
gave you
familiar.
the healing potion. Crispin Hallows.
Crispin Hallows, yep.
He is actually a brother-in-law of your mother, Adriel. So
that would make him like
your mother's original,
like my uncle-in-law, I guess.
Let's see. So your mother had like her marriage. I don't remember who it was that she was married to, but she was married to a Hallows. So it's the brother of the man that your mother was wed to before they had their split, their big controversial thing. Yep. So you go and you call upon Crispin Hallows, who is indeed a wizard that apprentices under Lord Mantivale. And Lord Mantivale asks if he happens to have locate object prepared. And Crispin Hallows says, "But of course, I prepare it every day. It's one of the most helpful things ever. I'm always losing a shoe, a key, a book, some such thing." "Oh, Adriel, it is you.
Crispin,
you look like you're doing a bit better now."
Yes,
Thanks to
I
you.
had much time to rest. I appreciate all the help you've been.
"Well, everything I know Duncan has taught me. You should be thanking him."
I say nothing. I just say nothing at all.
Crispin, it's fantastic that you have the spell prepared because there's a matter of grave urgency. The Nightstalker attacked Adriel, as you know. And because Adriel was the only survivor who got a good look at him, he saw a unique dagger that
now I'll put the image up again.
Yep.
Drawing.
These runes in particular make the dagger unique enough that we believe that locate object would work. And we've narrowed down what district of the city.
I could cast the spell. Now, this rendition that you've done here is not
Aygir made that
detailed. So, and I'm not personally familiar, but I could find objects that are similar to this.
Correct. And if it's unique enough with the symbols and everything on the dagger, it might work.
And of course, we can spend some extra time. I'm sure Aygir would be happy to make it even more.
Adriel, you should probably work with him to make it as detailed as possible.
Okay. Well, why don't we have Aygir do a skill check? do you have? There's got to be some kind of tool or
Yes.
artistry.
Well, so
thing.
Aygir is here right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess the closest would probably be cartographer's tools.
Calligrapher, I would say.
Calligrapher, probably.
Well, okay. The closest I should say that Aygir is proficient with.
Okay. Okay. So.
I mean, maybe this would just be like an
why don't
intelligence
you
check.
give us-
Proficiency?
Yeah,
Or
why don't you just
painter's
give us a
supplies.
straight wisdom
Oh,
roll?
wisdom.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Would
Why
it not be
wisdom?
like intelligence?
Yeah.
If it's wisdom, I could give it a shot.
I would think that a lot of things like this are wisdom because you're not logic.
Hang on, Aygir, give me that pen. That brush.
Actually,
me-
it
let
might
me
even
take
be.
that.
Actually, now that I think, it might be charisma since he's drawing like a charismatic type thing. A skill.
No,
I don't.
I don't. See that.
I'm trying to ask myself as an
Yeah.
Yeah, like what
artist,
is it? What is a
what
drawing
ability score am
skill?
I
Yeah.
using when I draw? And it
Dexterity.
doesn't
Because
feel like- it
dexterity-
doesn't feel like
dexterity is
intelligence.
Hey, Crispin,
Dexterity is
here's the
thinking,
question:
right?
Do you prepare to
Dexterity.
detect thoughts daily as well? Just read Adriel's mind and see it.
I guess it does kind of. It's like intelligence, wisdom, and dexterity all put.
Oh wait
together.
a second. Wait, I have disguise kits. Like I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff too. Like I might even be able to draw it.
Disguise kid, I don't know that would make sense. Disguise is like putting your face and like doing
Well,
stuff.
okay.
I know,
So the
but
way
it
I
works.
see it is cartographer's tools are used for drawing maps for replicating accurate depictions of things like
Yeah.
coastlines and distances.
Yeah.
And are the closest thing to like an engineer's drafting set,
Meticulous,
What skill-
exact
what skill-
drawings.
which
What
is what
skill
we're
does, like,
doing
calligraphy
here
do?
because we're also relying on
It's a
memory.
tool.
All
It's
right,
a tool.
make your intelligence check. It's good enough for me.
All right. there we go.
I mean, I'll do a wisdom
Make
check
your-
for you, Esper.
If you want to try a drawing as well, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And I
make a
also,
wisdom
I mean, I guess we can all try and see which one gets closer, right?
I got a 22.
I got a 23.
Woo! All right,
Can
so
I
you
also
both
try? Like I'm
Yeah,
the one
sure.
who knows it. Maybe I can give it a go.
Go ahead.
Maybe Adriel rolls with advantage because he actually knows what it looks like.
And would this be
Sure.
intelligence or actually either one is? I have 0.
Yeah,
so
intelligence or wisdom, sure.
a 10. So not really good for me.
Okay.
I'm the one who saw it.
That's
I'm just
okay
like
because
I
Aygir
am not
and
good at
Walykos
this.
have done these two really good drawings. They have a lot of similarities. Aygir's is more like a precise drawing, methodical and architect-like, and Walykos is more like an expressive drawing where he is, channeling and intuiting the
intuitive,
essence and the spirit of the thing, right?
Mommy,
what
mommy,
was
It's
you
more,
do it
it's
better.
more like an artistry end of things.
Yeah.
And mine is like a stick figure.
And you're like, is that a stick man whose head has fallen off? Oh, no, that's the dagger. Oh, dear. All right. So, well, Crispin Hallows, Duncan Mantivale, Sources Flay, a small a group of guardsmen, you all return to the Strong Castle itself. It is now 3 p.m. and Crispin Hallows is going to cast Locate Object, which has a duration of 10 minutes and reaches out to an object within 1,000 feet, or his senses, I would say, go out within 1,000 feet. If the object's in motion, he will know that it's in motion and know the direction. The spell cannot locate an object if any thickness of lead blocks a direct path. Okay, so let's see what Crispin Hallows finds
Well, he's
as
going to
he
start walking. Yeah.
as he slowly paces through first the ground level
Yeah.
of Strong
Yeah.
Castle.
I would hope that there isn't just sheets of lead just for DM's sake, just in the walls.
Some things are so specific that usually I'm like, we probably want to prepare that in my notes and not just improv that. I don't know. It's hard to say, but what I can say is this: is that the roll that I have just done is telling me that it is less than 1 minute into Crispin Hallows' pacing when he says, "There is something in this home Now, please understand, I cannot guarantee this is the exact dagger, but there is at least something similar to it in there.
Absolutely.
Well then, perhaps I can tell if it is.
Can you
And
can you wait outside and we'll take a look? Like we're gonna knock on the door and then see what we can find.
Source's Flay says,
Yeah.
Before you go knocking,
Yes. Actually, you should do it, Sources. Yeah.
let us get an understanding of what might be inside of this home.
Agreed. Why don't you surround it?
Yeah. So what you're seeing is like a front or a facade of a small home. It's in the, the definitely common area of Stronghold, like poorer, less well-off people here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty nondescript door, just has like some basic light blue paint on it that could use an update on the coat. It's not particularly fortified. It could be any door, really. It's on this this long, think of like the interior of a massive apartment complex, right? There's just door, and it's in sort of a corridor. There's doors on both sides. The corridor has access to other corridors. It has access to like a big plaza. It's close to, not terrible, like less than a minute away from the main entrance. So it could be any of them. But Duncan is like, he's sending his men to go look, like double check what is on the other side, right? This is the interior wall. What's the exterior wall?
Vapor's going to cast Detect Magic, by the way.
And Vapor's got Detect Magic going. Okay.
And no wild magic this time.
All right, which is a 30 feet
yes.
on Detect Magic. And let's see if that goes through walls. I think it can go through a bit of something.
1 foot of stone,
most barriers.
1 inch of common metal, thin sheets of lead, and 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Okay. So that'll be more helpful once you get inside of the home or the apartment here, because at the moment it's just kind of just penetrating through what's on the other side of the door, and there's not magic on the other side of the door. And the door's not magic. So you got that ruled out. Once you get inside, then you can start like really detecting. The guardsmen come back and they say, as best we can tell, it does have an exterior window. Most of these houses do. I would assume it does.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. Let us assume that it does have a window leading to the exterior. Like he said, most of these houses do.
Can Crispin tell us how many feet it is inside that? Can he give us like a more pinpoint location where it would be? Like from the door, is it 20 feet, 30 feet?
I'm saying you go about 20 feet ahead and then maybe 15 feet to the right.
But it's on the ground level, not on the upper level.
Yes. It's actually it seems quite low. Maybe it's lying on the ground.
Yeah, it could be hidden on their bed or
under a bed.
chest.
Maybe in a box.
That would make sense. If I was the Nightstalker, I would put it away somewhere out of sight. So
in a lead box.
Source's Flay in a lead box. Source's Flay says someone should go, and at least one should go to that window.
Yeah, I agree. I'll watch the window.
Yeah, Adriel says I won't. No, I would rather be in there.
Mm-hmm. Why don't
the two guardsmen will go with you, Walykos?
Okay, me and 2 guards,
so
and you guys go on the front.
Sources, Adriel, Aygir, and Vapor at the front door. Walykos and two guardsmen are outside. And you're doing your best. You're pretty sure it's this one window. It could be one or the other because there's lots of them. Yeah. But you've got it narrowed down so where if someone goes out that window, you're gonna see it.
I'll get a club in hand.
Take Crispin with them, so that way he can point towards the closest window to it.
Oh my gosh, you've got Duncan, Mantivale, and Crispin Hallows too. Ooh.
Yeah.
Woo. All right. So Crispin will go with you as well, Walykos.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And he can see if it starts moving, for some reason.
Duncan will stay with the people inside.
I'll stick in front of Crispin. I'll get my wooden club which I've collected. Actually, I have a scene in mind for the club, but there wasn't time to do it. So let's just say this club looks really familiar to Aygir and Vapor if they were watching. Maybe it looks kind of like a staff of petrified, mushroomy kind of sort that maybe they once had a companion.
Petripod Club?
Yeah, maybe they had a companion who had this exact same thing way back in the day.
Nice.
Might not be the exact same club, but maybe it is the exact same club. And then I also
has
have
this moment where he's looking at the door and he's like debating, what exactly to do.
Kick in the door, why not?
Yeah, I'll look.
Well, if the guard's there, Vapor's going to look like he's going to get ready to channel Shatter right into that door.
Yep.
Yeah,
So he knocks on the door. He just knocks. The door unlocks, opens, and there's an older woman. Can I help you? An older elven woman. Madam, by the authority of House Drakestone, I need to search your apartment immediately. Please stand aside. She is, bewildered or, taken aback by that. She's definitely an older woman, 60s, you maybe would say. And she's like, "Is there some trouble?" And she kind of like backs up, and Sorcerer just walks right in, and is immediately like, wastes no time, begins searching every room. The place is pretty cluttered. It's a messy house. This woman is obviously not a clean person at all. It just has kind of a sorry state to it all.
Vapor goes in. He's still got detect magic going.
He's got detect magic going. Okay, you are getting an aura, an extremely powerful aura of magic. Give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you. Conjuration, illusion, and necromancy. And it's that necromancy that is particularly very powerful.
Hold on.
You're right, Vapor. Do you notice anything?
Conjuration, what? Illusion and necromancy. The necromancy. It's.
Where's it coming from?
And Vapor's just going to beeline for that. Straight to where he's.
Vapor, you beeline for it. There's a door. It's like in a little bedroom. You go. It's a small little house, right? So that you go past some of the clutter, and you walk, and there's this like little bedroom door. It's small bedroom, regular door. Door is shut.
Adriel's following, of course.
You open the door. You knock on the door. You kick the door. What do you do?
Is the door locked?
Okay, you try the door. It's locked.
He casts shatters on it.
Movement on the inside. Someone's moving on the inside.
He just cast shatter.
You just cast shatter.
Yeah.
As he does,
the door
like
bursts into like fragments and chunks of wood. You see in the room a man. He's an elven man, strong build, about 6'1". He's wearing like some pretty super plain type clothing. Pretty pale looking fellow, has like this kind of it's not long, but it's kind of like a shock of messy hair out the back. He has a number of scars on him. He's pulling the dagger out of like a compartment in the floorboards.
As
soon as he does it, I'm attacking him. Yeah, as well.
As soon as he sees it, he's already lashing out with another spell.
Yeah, and I'm also calling out the source. I'm like, Sorcerer!
We're gonna pause right here.
This is like initiative time. I know you all want to take 50 actions before he gets one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and he just has this like cold, stony look on his face.
Yeah, his unmasked face.
Unmasked face. Yes.
And he does.
He's an elf. He looks like maybe in his late 30s. Pretty scarred and not an attractive fellow, and an ugly guy who's quite scarred.
Yeah. And his body type does look like the one that I found, right? Like,
Yeah, he's
okay,
a
yeah,
tall,
that's what I thought.
strong fellow.
Mhm. Just making
I
sure.
don't think he would have described him as 6'1" and strongly built.
No,
His earlier
obviously not.
description
I
were
was
not
I just
a
wanted
hair
to,
over
I
6
know.
feet tall and muscular.
I just wanted to clarify, of course, you know.
So we're gonna pause there.
Cliffhanger.
And as soon as I finish the stream, I'm immediately changing the name of this
Yeah,
episode
sorry
too.
about how we meant to go to a fungus cave.
Okay, well, I never know what's going to happen, so I'm doing my best to name these
Yeah.
things. So in my mind, it's like, okay, Adriel's going to see the Nightstalker and go, "Oh shit," and run. And it's
You
gonna
didn't
be like
expect me to find.
this little sampling of like what's to come. But
That's
no,
didn't expect
me to fight
Adriel's
him.
like, I'm going to fight him, and I'm sitting here like, "You're dead, Adriel. You're so dead." But I
I
forgot
mean,
about
a
the Misty Step.
good name might be Unmasked, or the Nightstalker.
No,
The
no,
Nightstalker
straight up, no,
Strikes, I think,
Esper,
is a good one.
if I hadn't have leveled
Actually,
up,
I thought he was going to kill you. I was like,
no,
"Dude, this
Esper,
Adriel's not
straight
gonna
up,
survive this."
if I hadn't have leveled up and if I hadn't have used my
Short rest.
my uncanny dodge and
Oh,
getting
yeah.
my,
And you
I
hadn't
would have
succeeded
died.
on your
And if I
Constitution
hadn't,
saving throw that second
I
time.
got extremely
All
lucky.
of those things had to happen to leave
All
you
of
at 2
those
hit
thi-
points, and I didn't roll any higher than I did.
Yeah, like I was exceptionally lucky. Like I should have died. Like if I was level 4, I would have died. 100%.
Never count on the player to do the sensible thing. I agree.
Yeah, good call, Thierry. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much. Another great episode. Look forward to the next one. Another awesome
Fantastic.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, the cliffhanger is killing me. I can't wait for 2 weeks for the next session.
Yeah,
All right.
you're
Well,
good.
we're all going to come back with bitten nails next session. And
Although this was an excellent birthday session, so
happy birthday!
Happy
birthday!
Woo! Should we
2
sing?
days from now,
Should we sing him
technically.
happy birthday? Let's do it.
No,
1,
no,
2,
no.
3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Warsor and Walykos.
All right, I'm logging off.
Happy birthday
Hey,
to you.
Thanks for running, Esper. It's been a great 3 or 4 years, I guess, since I've been playing with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been a
Something
long
like
time.
that. 2007, early 2018, I want to say. Yep.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's like maybe March or February 2018, something like
That
that.
sounds about right. Yeah, it was
For sure.
shortly before I moved. So, yeah.
It has been and continues to be awesome. So
Mhm.
look forward to the next one. See everybody in 2 weeks.
See you
Yep. See you
guys.
guys later. Have a good weekend.